Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Foul Play YouTube channel. Here we are with Reading with the Crew, episode 6. What do you think,
Thank you
Doc?
thank you so much there, Jack61, and a warm welcome. My name is Dr. Silkman. I'm from the Foul Play team. I'm calling from a very chilly Adelaide, South Australia. We're in the middle of winter. Welcome whatever platform you're listening on. It's great that you've joined us. And thank you so much, all of us here on the Foul Play team. We thank you for your support. We have a lot to cover today. So what we're going to do, we're going to make a start. But first of all, I'd like to welcome our esteemed panel. Joining us today, we have Jack61.
Well, how's everyone doing? I hope everyone on the panel's doing good, and certainly in the live chat. Appreciate everyone joining us. You can probably hear my granddaughter in the background. She's wired to, she's wired. I guess somebody gave her some sugar. I don't know. Anyway, doing very well here. It's actually been a little cool here. Of course, we're in summertime, but it cooled off here pretty good. But I know that won't last. It's going to warm back up. Doing great, guys. Hope everybody enjoys today's podcast. Should be another interesting but very difficult discussion about Brendan.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jack61. And next we have Susan. Susan, welcome.
Thank you, Doc. Welcome, everybody. And from the Midwest USA, where it's a pleasant 80-something degrees. A little cool down, too. So ready to get to it, Doc.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Susan. And next we have Neverly. Neverly, welcome.
Hi, Dr. Silkman. Hi, everybody on the panel and in the chat. Doing great. It was 97 today in Beverly Hills. I think that's a record for this year.
Holy hell.
Hot. Yeah, I know, right? And it's 91 right now. But, you know, with a properly working air conditioning unit, it's bearable.
Awesome.
Well, I hate to tell you this, Beverly. I think it got up to 71 here today.
What?
Yeah, I told you it cooled way off. It was quite
That's awesome.
quite nice. Yeah.
That's awesome. No such luck.
82 here.
Yeah, that's all nice. 97 is kind of, sizzling.
Yeah. In Adelaide, it's 11 degrees Celsius. Cold and rainy.
Oh, that's like 50.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, look,
40.
guys.
40.
Yeah. Well, look, guys. Look, welcome and thank you for joining us. As Jack61 pointed out, it is a very, very difficult topic that we're covering in our podcast series, but we must do this. The world really has to know what happened to Brendan Dassey, and we're going to keep up the good fight. So as Jack61 pointed out, today is episode 6 of our Reading with the Crew series entitled The Entrapment of Brendan Dassey. So we're going to be covering a few things today. Of course, we're going to be continuing his interrogation, his March 1st interrogation. And there's a couple of questions I want you to put in the back of your mind. So we're just about to enter a very important part of Brendan's interrogation. And that is Brendan Dassey tells both Fassbender and Uyghur that he goes to collect the mail for Stephen Avery, gets on his bike and goes and collects the mail. On his way back, he hears screaming coming from a female, and that screaming is coming from Stephen's trailer. This is what allegedly Brendan told the interrogators, and we'll read about that during the podcast. It's very, very important. So what Brendan tells both Fassbender and Uyghur after is going to seal the fate for both himself and also for Stephen permanently. And Jack61, Susan, and Neverly could tell you how damning the press conference was, the March 2nd press conference was that Ken Kratz did. It was devastating for both Brendan and also for Stephen. But what we're going to be doing, as I said, in our podcast, the way we approach our podcast series is we're not just going to do a blind reading. That's boring. You can see the video yourself if you wish. What we're going to do, we're going to break down Brendan Dassey's interrogation, and we're going to check his veracity of his recollections? Are they indeed fact or fiction? So as we're reading and analyzing his interrogation, and also the questions that both Fassbender and Wiegert are saying and asking of Brendan, I want you guys in chat to note whether the interrogators are being deceptive, whether they're asking leading questions, and look at the answers of Brendan and ask yourself and put it in chat whether what Brendan is saying is the truth or just complete fiction, just absolute nonsense. And I want to warn everyone in today's podcast, because of the subject matter, viewer discretion is strongly recommended. Right, Jack 61? Right, guys?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, the material that we're covering is pretty hard hitting, but we must go through it. It's brutal. Jack 61, do you have a comment, sir?
Just to, it's an observation, and we saw this, really from the beginning, but, really getting into this March 1st interrogation and going throughout all of it, I have to put myself, I'm an older guy, Doc, you and I are seasoned. We've been around
Yes.
the block a couple of times, and I think about these questions and how this, I've been through this a number of times over the years. And what were Fassbender and Uyghur thinking as they're going through and listening to this ever evolving and changing story and narrative? And what prevented them from saying, look, mate, what the hell's wrong with you? What do you really know? Because clearly they didn't do that. What's the motivating driving factor behind Uyghur and Fassbender? Was it Pagel? Was it Kratz? Was it all of them saying we got to get a statement from this guy?
It's
I don't
definitely
know, right.
It's definitely driven by Mr. Kratz. As we read out in the last podcast, and we read passages from his book, he obviously would have been communicating with Pagel as well. So I dare say, welcome, Mary. I dare say there was a combination of all of them. Remember what Kratz said: we need to get all the information out of him as much as we can.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, guys, their number one target wasn't Brendan. Their number one target was Stephen Avery.
Absolutely.
Right? And but this goes to show the horrors of how two allegedly adult investigators had no checks and balances, had no concept of what Brendan was telling them was pure garbage and pure fantasy. And remember what we did in the last podcast or a couple of podcasts ago, where as soon as they questioned Brendan on the 27th of February, they scrambled and rechecked the RAV4, right? They checked underneath the seats. They cut out parts of the seat. And as you know, Jack 61, the FBI even did 3D scanning of the seats of the RAV4.
And I don't really understand that. You put that up on X. I don't understand that. And I know you probably have heard about the reply I gave to you.
Yep.
That there were people that thought their laser scan would destroy any, leftover DNA and EDTA and all that. But, we did.
No.
That's just people freaking guessing. We had no idea.
Correct. Normally, if you're gonna destroy DNA, you have to use UV light. And UV light is pretty dangerous at those wavelengths. You have to wear full protective gear. You have to wear special shielding. Otherwise, the UV light's going to basically give you a massive suntan. Correct.
Oh, yeah.
No, that type of scanning is normally non-invasive. It's to get a surface scan of the seats. But one wonders why the hell the FBI would do that. But
and why would they wait until November of 2006 to do it?
I have a feeling they were trying to back up what Brendan was telling them. They were trying to find some type of evidence that would make Brendan's narrative truthful. The problem is, despite them checking the RAV from top to bottom, obviously they never did a good job the first time round. They never found the knife. They never found a weapon, etc., despite taking the RAV4 apart. So the tragedy here, guys, is that they never did fact checking. Mr. Kratz never did fact checking of Brendan Dassey's narrative. He took the narrative and ran with it. And as a consequence of doing that, he did irreparable damage to both Stephen and Brendan.
Oh yeah, March 2nd, their cases were done.
It was done. It was done. In all honesty, it was done. And now you can see the blowback that Kathleen Zellner is getting about trying to retest the RAV and other pieces of forensic evidence. They won't let her. They'll come up with some type of legal block, some type of Wisconsin law to prevent her getting her hands on the RAV. But anyway, guys, let's continue. If we can have a look at the next slide, Jack 61. So this is to bring everybody up to date. We've commenced Brendan Dassey's March 1st interrogation. And that took place in the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department. And you can read it and follow it in CASO. And I've noticed that there are several videos available online. But what I found, guys, was that each video I saw has got missing segments. There's actually missing transcript in the videos. They've been cut out. And I was shocked because I was following it as I was checking the CASO report. There are whole slabs. You could check the time skips. They've actually cut out certain sections. So if you want the real deal, listen to our podcast because we'll read every word, or go to CASO and read it there. The point here, guys, is that after the conclusion of this interrogation, Brendan Dassey is arrested and won't taste freedom again. That's the scary bit. All right, Jack 61, if we can have a look at the next slide, please. Now, from a legal standpoint, this is very, very important because Mark Wiegert read the warnings and waiver of rights to Brendan before he was questioned. And Mark Wiegert went through all of the steps. And what I've done is I've highlighted for you where Brendan has initialed it, right? So, and he also signed it. Now, you got to remember that when Brendan Dassey was questioned, he never had an adult guardian with him. His mum wasn't with him, and he had no attorney or lawyer present. So, therefore, he had no advice from a third party to say, look, answer the question, don't answer the question. Brendan, are you sure you're saying, what you're saying, etc., etc.? And if you remember, there were a couple of calls where Stephen talks to his attorney, and they were talking about what Brendan was saying. And his attorney said to him, you realize that the phone calls are being recorded. We should do this in private. So in other words, Stephen's attorney was giving him advice on what to say, what not to say. Remember, Brendan Dassey never had that. He was by himself with both Fassbender and Wiegert. And as we've known, his school psychologist basically summed it up. Remember what she said, that he's expressionless, he's motionless, and he's also intellectually and socially inept. So, despite the fact that neither Fassbender or Wiegert used any violence, any threats, got right up in his face, do you think Brendan understood his legal rights that he wavered away? Jack 61.
No way. No way.
Susan, what do you think? Do you think Brendan understood his legal rights?
Hell no, not for a second.
Okay. Okay, Neverly, what do you think?
No, I commented last time that Brendan understood the words, but not the context, and I'm sticking by that story. Also, I would like to underline one thing, which is that Wiegert, as you said, he went over the right steps of Mirandizing Brendan, however, he did in such a casual way, like, oh yeah, this is Maria, do you understand? Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand. And then he goes back and he goes, as you recall, you signed a Miranda, you were Mirandaized. And then Fassbender said, yeah, we appreciate the truth, even though you're going to be, you're implicating yourself, it's a little bit bad for you, but
Yes.
it's better to tell the truth. So
The truth will set you free.
the truth will set you
Set you
freaking
free.
free.
The truth got handcuffs on him, right? Yeah, you're correct. I 100% agree with what you just said, Neverly. It was sort of read to Brendan in a matter-of-fact manner, and I'm sure Brendan did not really comprehend. But because he ticked the boxes, yes, he waived his rights, and he agreed to be questioned.
Yes, and legally, Uyghur can say the truth. Yes, we went over it, and he said he understood, and he initialed and signed.
Yeah, and 3RAF4 said, did Barb understand Brendan's legal rights? That is only a question that Barb can answer, but I tell you what, if you're a kid, 16 years old, and you've got the issues that Brendan's got, the intellectual capacity, and the fact that he doesn't like confrontation, I highly doubt that he understood what Mark Uyghur read to him, and also the legal implications. And that's why these documents, Fassbender and Uyghur can just waive that document in front of us, in front of anybody, and say, well, Brendan agreed to be questioned. And that's what we did. So from a legal standpoint, none of us, and neither Brendan, has got a leg to stand on, right? The damage was done, right? But to complicate matters, and guys, I hope you will agree, and I'll get you on in a sec, Jack 61. When Brendan was interrogated in May, right, even though he had an attorney, his attorney didn't show up. And even though he had Michael O'Kelly never entered into the room. So in effect, his attorneys did nothing for him. Jack 61.
Yeah, I don't know, legally speaking, I don't know what Barb truly understood. Maybe the right to remain silent, thinking about her experiences with what they had already been through with Stephen and the the 85 case, him getting exonerated, and probably a real mistrust of a lot of the cops. Yeah, and
Yeah,
the legal system.
Yeah, plus Barb was having her own issues at the time as well.
That's right.
Being placed under a lot of pressure. So, and what is interesting is that she refused to disclose who her boyfriend was. Remember when the investigators
didn't want to name him. Yeah.
She did not want to name her boyfriend at the time, didn't want to introduce Scott Tadich at all, which was a very, very interesting position, right? Because there was obviously a lot of things were happening at that time. So unfortunately for Paul Brendan, he's alone in that interrogation room. All right. Now, if we have a look at the next question, we're now looking at a very important part of the interrogation. And that is Brendan tells both Fassbender and Uyghur that, look, after he came home from school, he was in his house and he was playing PlayStation 2, and he decided all of a sudden to get his bike and go collect the mail for Stephen. He obviously would have checked to see if his mum had any mail or something like this. Now, this is all allegedly, right? Out of the blue, he decides to go on his bike and go collect the mail. Now, as you saw last week, the mailboxes are exactly where the bus stop is, right? So when Brendan was let off with his brother at 3:45, they walked straight past the mailboxes. Now, think about it. You're a 16-year-old kid, right? You love being by yourself. You love playing PlayStation. You love playing computer games. Does anyone honestly believe that all of a sudden you go, oh, I need to go on my bike and I need to go collect the mail. Who actually believes that narrative, Jack 61?
It's bullshit. It's such bullshit.
Yeah, yeah. A kid that age, right? I mean, we've had children, or some of us have had children that age. When they've got something on their mind, they want to play a game or talk to a friend, they've got blinkers on. They're not all of a sudden going to say, oh, I got to go get my uncle's mail, right? That makes no sense at all, right? But this was important, guys. This narrative that Brendan spewed out was important. Why? Because it brought him outside. It brought him outside. That's critical, because what Brendan said was, hey, when I was riding back, and we'll see the pictures later on, when I was riding back, I heard screaming. I heard screaming, and it was coming from Stephen's trailer, right? Now, think about it. That's a real odd thing. What? Yelling, screaming? Jody wasn't there. Jody was in prison. So who's this female that's screaming, right? So I decided to dig deep into Brendan's story, because I remember years ago, right, Jack 61, we're there. But wait a minute. Brendan's not the kid that goes and get the mail. The mail
Nope.
is brought by his mum,
That's right.
by Dolores, right? Because remember, they run a business, right? They've got the office. The office is next to where Dolores lives. Dolores, I remember in MAM, I think she's got all these books and folders with Alan. They've got all the receipts, etc., etc. They would have mail from a lot of companies. And remember, Stephen was in the middle of a civil suit. So he could have got correspondence from attorneys, lawyers, etc., etc. So I went back to find out, now, where have I seen Stephen talking about his mum bringing the mail, right? 3 RAV4s. Someone want to read out the question?
Sure.
Well, go ahead, Everly.
Was the bike in a serviceable condition at the time?
Well, according to Brendan, later on, he goes, my bike was broken. My bike was broken. But you'll see the tragedy later on of what Brendan says. And that's why this entire narrative made no sense. But the Fassbender and Wiegert, they were lapping it up. Oh, so you went outside, you're riding your bike back, and you hear a woman screaming. Perfect. For Fassbender and Wiegert, that's perfect. So what I did is I went back through my documents, and lo and behold, guess what I found? Jack 61. If we can have a look at the next slide, please. Now, and I'll just wait till that comes up. So I looked at the DCI reports, and Stephen Avery, he was interviewed by Skolinski and O'Neill on November the 6th. That's one day after the RAV4 was found, right? I think it was at Crivets. And basically, Skolinski and O'Neill said to Stephen, right, tell us what you did that day when Teresa arrived, when she left. Now, this is November the 6th. Susan, do you see that slide?
Yes, Doc.
Would you like to read the whole portion, please? So this is what Stephen said about what he did.
Avery was asked what he did on Monday after Halbach left. He said he took the Auto Trader book that she gave him and put it in his house by his computer. Then he went next door to his sister Barb's residence to see if her son Bobby had left. Avery said Bobby was home, but had already left by the time he walked over to Barb's house. He said he did not go into Barb's house. Avery said he then went back to his house and stayed home all afternoon. He said his mom, Dolores Avery, came over with his mail and stayed maybe 5 minutes. Avery said he listened to his stereo in his house that afternoon. Avery said later he went over to his mom's house for supper. Avery said after supper he went back home and stayed home all night. He did not recall going anywhere else. Avery said he was home so his fiancée, Jody Stokowski, could call him. Jody is an inmate at the Manitowoc County Jail. He said she can call out at any time. He said he received 2 calls from her on his home phone number during Monday evening. Avery did not recall if his brother Chuck, Charles Avery, went to dinner at Mom's residence.
Okay. So can you see the importance here? Without any prompting at all, he said, as part of his narrative, that afternoon my mother brought the mail in a golf cart with a golf cart. Right? Now this is November the 6th. This is way before Brendan Dassey. Do you see the tragedy? So Stephen, without being prompted, said, "Yep, look, my mum brings down the mail, and she stayed for about 5 minutes and then left." Now, this is an entirely different narrative to what Brendan says. Guys, would you agree? You can't have Brendan going to get Stephen's mail
No,
if the mail is already presented by his mother, correct?
completely,
Right.
yeah, completely different.
Yep.
That's why
Well-
Brendan's narrative is just such crap. Go ahead, Susan.
Just to be fair, I mean, the mailman could have mistakenly put a Stephen letter in their mailbox. And I think that's kind of what his story was, wasn't it? But
Oh, he checked his mailbox and he checked Stephen's mailbox. And Brendan's narrative was that he found a letter that had Stephen's name on it. But if Mama Avery is there, because I remember Chuck, do you remember the story that Chuck got into trouble by his son, who said that my father collected the mail and kept his mail? So quite clearly
Yeah.
the mail is going to the central office and then they divvy it up, right?
That's right.
I think it goes to all the boxes, the mailboxes.
It does. It does. But I think Chuck goes down and gets it,
Yes.
brings it back to the office, and then they split everything up.
And they
to
split
the
up.
proper.
Yep. And the controversy was that Chuck wasn't giving his son's mail at the time. There was a bit of trouble. So
Yeah.
the thing is that if a Mama Avery has gone down to the mailboxes to collect the mail, right? Remember, if she goes down the same pathway, she passes Barb's house and she goes to Stephen's, right? So potentially it doesn't make any sense that both Mama Avery is collecting Stephen's mail and also, I mean, it's hard to believe that someone potentially could be right that they misplaced a letter and put it in Barb's letterbox. But if you're Mama Avery, wouldn't you check? If you're there, wouldn't you just open up the mailboxes and just check? That's a possibility. Now, the argument is, well, maybe Fassbender and Wiegert never saw this report, right? Maybe they forgot to read the report that Stephen said that his mother brought down the mail. Guess what? Let's have a look at the next slide.
And one more thing before I flip that over is the time frame that Dolores came and brought the mail.
Oh yeah,
Does it say here?
yeah. Well, I'll say it. I'll say it now. Sorry, Susan. Keep going. Sorry, Susan.
Oh, it doesn't state a time in there when this month came.
Yep. But we actually have a phone call, right, Jack 61? I found the phone call in which Stephen, this after Brendan, all this kerfuffle about Brendan Dassey, Stephen's talking to his mother, Dolores, and goes, "You brought me the mail." Goes, "Yeah, I'm normally there between 3 and 3:30.
See, and that's what I was thinking right there, because if she's there between 3 and 3:30, wouldn't she have seen Brendan riding his freaking bicycle if he was on it?
Well, Brendan would have still been at school, right? So the thing that
Oh, that's
makes
right. That's
makes
right.
But there's one critical thing that Brendan mentions, and that is Teresa's RAV4 is out in the open, and Mama Avery is down at his son's house delivering the mail. So I thought, okay, where else have I seen this? Lo and behold, when Stephen Avery was arrested on November the 9th, Fassbender and Uyghur talked to him. And Fassbender again says, all right, tell us what you did after Teresa arrived. And Neverly, do you see that slide?
Yes, I do. But before we move on, I just want you to say, to read this comment from Mr. President regarding the mail. He said, if Brendan had already brought the mail over, Dolores wouldn't have to do it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And that's the tragedy, right? What do we always say? What's important about when you're being questioned is corroboration, right? Does something corroborate your story? Had Stephen said, oh yeah, on Halloween, my mum never bought the mail. It was my nephew did. Hello, that brings legitimacy and corroborates. Now remember, this is way before March the 1st. Look what Stephen tells Fassbender and Uyghur on November the 9th. Neverly, you want to read it?
Sure. Stephen thought he then went back in the house and he may have watched TV or listened to the radio or ate something. Stephen said about 5 to 10 minutes later, his mother came down with her golf cart and brought him his meal. He thought he sat on the golf cart and talked for a while, then went back inside and may have listened to the radio or watched TV. Stephen advised he has not burned anything in his burn barrel for quite a while, probably longer than a week. He did not burn anything that night. His burn barrel is out in front of his house. Stephen said the week before last, or over a week ago, and before Teresa was there, he burned brush, some tires, and some garbage in the area behind his house right by his dog. He said the tires did not have rims.
Okay, so you can see here twice, including in front of Fassbender and Uyghur, he goes, hey, my mum brought down the mail. She stayed for about 5 or 10 minutes, came down because Mama Avery had difficulty walking. So she used the golf cart, and they've got a golf cart, brings down the mail. And you could understand, because delivering mail, especially a business mail, you've got attorneys happening, correspondence, you're not going to leave that to a 16-year-old kid who could potentially have forgotten, lose it, etc., etc. Guys, would you agree?
I would tend to agree with that, but I do remember reading it. I don't remember which report, but it was. I know I read this that Chuck said that he went and got the mail after it got delivered. It got brought back to the shop, and then I don't know how they, divided it up, but that's where it happened.
Yes.
And the mail went to the different, houses that were on the property.
Correct. And if Chuck got the mail, he could have gone past his mum's house, said, here, this for Stephen.
That's right.
It's as simple as that, because there is a DCI report in which Chuck goes and gets the mail and they sort it out, right? So all of a sudden you're going, jeepers, it's not adding up. So if we have a look at the next slide, guys, this sums it all up, right? We'll just wait for the next slide. So Stephen Avery first mentions his mum bringing him the mail on November the 6th, right? On November the 6th, right up front, as part of a normal routine. And he mentioned it twice, on the 6th and the 9th, without being prompted. Now, how can Stephen Avery forward project his nephew on March the 1st saying that, no, I bought my uncle the mail? Do you understand? How would Stephen have even contemplated, I better mention that my mother bought me the mail because maybe Brendan's going to say he bought the mail? No way. That's ridiculous. But the tragedy is this: Fassbender and Uyghur interrogated Stephen. Fassbender and Uyghur had that report. And in that report, Stephen goes, my mother bought the mail, right? Not Brendan, right? But what's incredible is that there's a phone call, and we've got it on our YouTube channel, call number 632, in which Stephen is talking to his mum, saying, "You brought me the mail. What's Brendan talking about? You brought me the mail. You're on your golf cart." And Dolores even said, "Yeah, between 3:30." Right? And that's in the afternoon, right? So that's quite remember when they spoke to the neighbors, the mailman delivers it in the morning, right? The mail in the morning. So the Dasseys and the Averys would have likely already had their mail, correct? By 3:30, that's in the late afternoon. You already would have had your mail at Jack 61.
Yeah, and just thinking a little bit out loud here, but thinking, Stephen had left because Teresa was coming by, so he may not have been able to get his mail at the shop like he probably normally did. I'm just
Yes.
guessing here. I don't know that, but so maybe Ma was done at the shop, or Dolores was done at the shop.
Yes.
And Chuck said, "Hey, Steve's got some mail here. You want to run it up to him?" I don't
Yep.
know. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yep. Because remember, Mama Avery and Stephen were very close, right? And this would have been relatively easy chore for Dolores to do, right? Go on a golf cart, bring down the mail, have a bit of a chin wag with her son, and then come back home. I don't see Brendan Dassey going, "Oh, I'm not going to play my game. I'm going to go collect the mail," right? That doesn't make any sense at all. Hey, we welcome I Don't Recall.
Hey, Cherie.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going well. How's it going for you?
Yeah, good. Thank you. All right.
Good.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to dive back into the interrogation. Now, I need 3 readers. I need a reader for Fassbender, I need a reader for Wiegert, and I need a reader for Brendan. Who would like to read Fassbender?
I can do it.
I would.
Neville, would you like to read Fassbender?
Sure.
Susan, would you like to read Mark Wiegert?
Sure.
And who would like to read Brendan Dassey's part?
I can. Okay. Thank you, Cherie. You go for it.
Cherie? Are
Okay.
you happy to read Brendan? All right. So
Yes.
the way I've organized this is we can stop it at any time. And I've written comments down the slides because these are very important comments. Because remember what we've just discussed about the fact that Brendan said he went to get the mail, and quite clearly, her Mama Avery got the mail. So the question is, how did Brendan come up with this narrative? All right. So let's start the interrogation. Fassbender's up first.
Okay, Brendan, you're doing a good job. Let's go back to when you go outside to get your bike and you gotta go get the mail and you said you heard screaming. Any more? Tell us more about what you heard. That you said, "Help me." Was a female screaming?
Yeah.
What else did you hear her say, if anything?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. That's all I heard.
Okay. Was her vehicle still there?
Yeah.
Where's the vehicle at that time?
By the big trees.
Okay.
Did that scare you when you heard that screaming?
Sort of.
Did you go over to his house then?
Uh-uh.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
And you said you rode your bike down to get the mail?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Big problem. Big problems here, though.
There's a fucking huge problem. What is it, Jack 61?
The rat parked under the tree and no one saw it. Really?
Remember, Brendan Dassey gets home at 3:45, right? By the time
Right.
he gets in his house, it's 4:00. Then he decides to then go get the mail. He says that he can still see Teresa's RAV4 outside in the open, which means that anybody could come down and say, what the hell's, what, whose car is that? And he even said where the RAV4 was, out by the big trees. Well, out by the big trees is very close to Stephen's place, very close to where Teresa would have parked her RAV to take the photographs of the van, right? Now, who believes that Brendan saw Teresa's RAV out by the big trees when he went to get the mail?
Not I.
I don't believe it either because I
Nick-
don't believe he went to get the mail.
Yep.
Well, and then we have the problem of Earl and Robert Fabian,
Yes.
which is another gigantic freaking problem.
Yes. And who are the two people that come home? Bob
Well,
and
Bob comes home at 5, and then
and
Bobby.
Scott.
Bobby and Bobby. Yeah, Scott
Bobby.
comes later. Yeah.
Scott comes,
Yep.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, you've got a conflict of who got the mail, and B, Stephen goes, "Oh, the vehicle's still outside." So you've got a real huge problem, right? Because anyone, remember, it's a working day. Anyone could have come on down, and people did come on down, including Dolores. No one ever mentioned seeing the RAV4, right? Okay, guys, shall we continue?
Sure. Tom Fassbender came back, and then what did you do? Honestly, you went over to his house.
No,
What'd you do?
I went into our garage and put the bike away.
Mm-hmm.
And Brian was in there working on his car.
Yeah.
I asked if he wants any help, and he said no, that if he wanted help, he would come in and get me or something. So I went in the house and I sat down.
Did Brian hear the screaming too?
No, he had the radio going.
Okay.
Did you tell Brian?
No,
Okay. You went in the house and sat down. And then?
I waited and then I watched TV for a little bit, and my mom came home
And she comes home at about what time?
about 4:35.
Okay.
And then what happens?
She asked me if anybody got the mail. I'm like, yeah, I did, and watched TV more. And he came over and asked if she wanted to help.
Right. So
Got more big problems, Doc. Holy shit. We
you got some.
Oh, man.
Yep. Now, do you honestly think that the first thing that Barb would say to Brendan on coming home, did you get the mail?
No, she just drove right by the damn mailbox. I mean, and that's the no.
Yeah, she drove by the mailboxes, so she could have easily checked herself. But she came home, and the RAV4 allegedly is still outside.
Right, it's up under the trees there.
Yeah, under the trees. Correct. But notice what Brendan said. Did you go to Stephen's house to deliver the mail? What did Brendan say?
Said no.
No, he went home. He went home. But there's another huge problem. He spoke
With
to his
Brian?
brother Brian,
Yeah, with Brian, yeah.
and he said
In the garage?
in the
On
garage,
his car?
in the garage, working on his car. Did Brian when they questioned Brian, did Brian ever mention him working on his car?
No.
No. Brian said, I had a shower and I went to my girlfriend's house.
Yeah, grabbed some
Yeah.
clothes and went to his girlfriend's house. He didn't work on his freaking car.
And hence he never saw the RAV4 as well. Sorry, Susan.
Oh, no. No worries.
It was me. Another big problem is if Teresa's over here screaming out of this trailer, wouldn't Brian have heard it when he went out to his car after he grabbed his
Yeah.
stuff in his shower?
Yep, 100% correct.
I
Now-
have a question.
Evelyn.
The 3Ref4s in the chat said, how's the fire going at this time? When was it ever determined at what time did the fire start?
No,
Of course not.
no, there's a huge amount of conflicts about the fire. A, if a fire was actually on Halloween that night.
Absolutely.
B, when it was lit. And C, how long it actually went for. And Jack61 will back me up on this. There's a phone call in which Brendan Dassey is there in the garage one day prior on the 30th.
Evening of the 30th. I'll try to find I'll try to, while we're talking here, I'll try to find what time that call was.
It's right at the beginning when Stephen is talking to Brendan and Jody says, who's that? Oh, it's Brendan.
That's right.
And he's in the garage. And I think that's the day that Barb phones his brother, say, get my son home and put him on a jacket because it's cold. So it's very easy that they can get their days confused, right? So quite clearly, Brendan's story is not adding up. But if you have a look at the next slide, it sums it up perfectly, right? We'll just wait till the next slide comes up. So have a look at this. In the back, you can see Stephen's trailer. And this is the roadway that goes to Barb's house. And straight down, you can see the van that Teresa Horbach had photographed. Right next to the van on the right-hand side is a police vehicle. And that's approximately, if you read Bobby Dassey's testimony, that's approximately where Teresa Horbach parked her RAV. Now, guys, if you're driving up the driveway, are you going to miss seeing that blue car or the Mystic Teal Mika RAV4 at that spot? Are you going to miss it?
No.
Unless you close your eyes.
Right? And see those big trees in the background? That's where
right.
Brendan was saying the RAV4 was.
See right there. Anyone could see it.
Right? Right there. So, Jack61, do you see the little statement down below?
Yep.
Would you like to read? This is what Bobby Dassey said. He said this to Deidring on November the 5th. Let's go for it.
Bobby stated that he left for deer bow hunting at approximately 1445 to 1500 hours. He stated that the teal vehicle was still there when he left. He stated that he arrived home at dark or shortly thereafter. He did estimate the time at 1645 hours. He stated that when he arrived home, the blue or teal colored SUV was gone.
Oh no! Oh no! Right? So Brendan is saying, no. It was still there when I went to go get the mail. And you wait when what time Brendan says he goes to get the mail, right? It's just going to blow your mind. So is it possible that Brendan heard his brother say, oh, when I left, I saw the RAV4 still there? And did Brendan somehow translate it to say, oh, the RAV4 was still there, right? Did he interpose his thoughts with what his brother said? Because when his brother said, when I left to go bow hunting, the RAV4 was still there. So
absolutely. Yeah, exactly. And think about, this was 4 months later, and everything that he's heard, not only at school, but at home.
Yes.
Absolutely, Doc.
What has Brendan got a very poor? He's got a very poor
memory.
Everything is scrambled. And yet, the incredible thing is this. Both Fassbender and Wiegert have got all of these reports. They've got all of their reports. And they're not cross-checking. They're somehow not putting 2 and 2 together. That somehow this is not making sense. So that's why what we're doing here in the podcast is very important. Because what we're doing is we're looking at the veracity of what Brendan is telling the interrogators, and it's not adding up. So a major tenet of what Brendan said, hey, I got my bike, I went to go get the mail, but I didn't deliver it immediately. I went back home. Oh, I saw the RAV4, it was still there. Do we have another question?
Yeah, Neverly, read that out.
Sure. 3 RAV4s is asking, is the orientation of the police vehicle the same as the RAV4 was?
I believe so, yes. According to what Bobby said, that's the same. Because Teresa Horbach would have driven in that direction, and she stopped. Bobby Dassey was asked to draw a picture of where the RAV4 was, and it was roughly in that position there. So Teresa would, if for her to have left, she would have had to reverse back into that driveway and then come back out, or reversed and gone around past Barb's house and around the junction and then back out. That would have been the orientation. Because remember, we talked about the fact that if Bobby had gone out where his car was, he may not have seen Teresa sitting in her seat. You know, when he said, I went to go bow hunting, I saw but I didn't see Teresa. Teresa could have been sitting in her seat and Bobby may not have seen her at all. All right. So, guys, shall we continue unless there are any more comments or questions? Neverly, do you have any comments?
No, I'm
Okay.
just monitoring the chat, and there's so many great comments.
Yep, excellent. All right, guys, let's continue.
He came over and asked you what?
If I could help him move something.
Okay.
Okay, so to this point, I think we're pretty close to the truth. How close are we, Brendan?
Pretty close.
Okay, then give us the little parts that we don't have yet up to this point. Does Stephen, there's something in there we're missing. You heard her. I have a feeling he saw you. You saw him, something in here that we're missing, because, you know, we are not idiots. Oh, that's questionable. I don't see him coming over to the house and asking you to help him unless you know something. So tell us what you knew that he knew.
It's okay, Brendan. We already know.
I think you went over to his house and then he asked him to get his mail. Something is here missing.
Well, when I got the mail there was like a envelope in there with his name on it.
All right.
Okay, now we're going. So what'd you do?
I knocked on the door and he answered it.
Yeah. And then what?
I gave it to him and then I left.
Come on now. You just heard screaming over there.
You're making this hard on us and yourself.
Be honest. You went inside, didn't you?
Bastard.
More problems, Doc. I don't know if anybody wants to discuss it or not, but this interjections, come on, be honest. We already know what happened.
Well, what is remarkable here is how Brendan flip-flops. On the one hand, he says, I went home. Oh, no, you went over there, didn't you? And then he nods. So he's very, very pliable. So whatever the interrogators say to him, he agrees with them. Instead of standing his ground
Right.
and saying, no, I didn't do that. Oh, now notice how his narrative has completely changed from I went home to now knocking on the door, and we get convinced him you went in.
Yeah, he said he didn't, but come on now. You didn't go
Several
in. You just heard
times.
screaming. Right. You just heard screaming. You didn't go in?
Because logically, Brendan is going, yeah, that doesn't make sense, does it? I hear a woman screaming. What do? I just go home and I don't even tell my brother. And
Don't tell it. That's another one. Didn't tell Brian anything.
Brian, nothing. Didn't ring up his mum, the police, or his grandmother.
Yeah, they
his
just didn't
other
want to
uncles.
accept what Brendan was saying. That wasn't an option.
Correct, because what they were hearing from Brendan did not make sense. So they're going, are we close to the truth? And what does he say? Pretty close. So how much bullshit has he said already? Jack 61.
I was just checking. I'm sorry. I was checking that call we were talking about on October 30th.
Mm-hmm.
That call is in the jail calls from Jody Stokowski. It's the bottom of the playlist. It's call number 4, and it's at 8:46 p.m. It's right at the beginning. Jody says,
Yep.
"Who are you talking to?"
Yep.
And Steven says, "Oh, it's Brendan." This is October
garage.
30th in the garage.
In the garage, correct.
That's right.
And if Brendan got the days wrong, then the narrative he's talking about is completely off by a whole day, right? And it's been
Absolutely.
proven Brendan's got a shocking memory, right? All right, guys, shall we continue?
Sure. Fassbender. Yeah.
You went in the trailer?
Mm-hmm.
You're not in.
Okay. Did he invite you in?
Yeah.
Okay. And where was she?
In his room.
Okay. Did you go back there and look?
No.
Brendan, be honest.
I didn't.
Well, how do you know she was in his room?
The door was open.
Could you see her?
Yeah.
Was she alive?
Well, she was handcuffed to the thing,
She was handcuffed to what?
the bed.
Was she naked? Was she alive?
Boy, did that ramp up quick.
Mm-hmm.
Did that ramp up quick.
And Brendan nodded yes when we got asked him, was she naked?
Yes. Yes, that
Yeah, I
ramped up
should have read that.
really, really fast. Okay, so let's think about this logically. You're Stephen Avery, and somehow, we'll talk about this and I'll show you some pictures. You've got Teresa Horbach pinned up to your bed. What's the first thing you would do to Teresa? Cover her mouth or let her openly scream? What would you do?
You cover her
Duh.
mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Or order her to stop screaming or say something.
No,
Yeah,
you
see those guns behind my bed there on the
Yeah.
rack? I'm gonna blow your head off if you don't shut up.
Yep.
Something.
You wouldn't allow your potential victim to
No.
openly scream and yell,
No.
right? But look how quickly it ramped up from Brendan saying, I went home to I was invited to go in and I saw her naked pinned up to the bed. Now, if we have a look at the next slide, Jaxie's one, this is a huge, huge red flag. And that is when you have a look at the very first photographs that were taken of Stephen Avery's bedroom, what do you notice immediately? Do you notice the bed? No, you cannot see the bed. So what Brendan is saying is that he was able to see Teresa pinned up in the bed, looking down the corridor. And that's clearly not the case. Brendan got the entire orientation of the bedroom wrong. Now, I've heard all the arguments, and Jack 61 will recollect them as well. Oh, Stephen, he got the vacuum cleaner. He cleaned his whole bedroom. He rearranged everything, etc., etc. Except there's no proof that he actually changed his bedroom after October the 31st. Now, I know as a fact that when Jody was there in August, the bed was underneath that window. But clearly, after she went to prison, and she was still in prison, Stephen rearranged his bedroom, changed everything, maybe cleaned the carpets, etc., etc. Because the next bedroom right next to that one, that's when they had the hole in the roof causing all the water damage. So potentially Stephen could have got the vacuum cleaner and cleaned out the bedroom, rearranged the furniture. But quite clearly, if that's the way the bed was on October the 31st, you will agree there's no way that Brendan can see down and see Teresa Horbach pinned to the bed. If Teresa was in that room, she's around the corner, cannot see. Now, the other problem is, if we have a look at the picture that's got the gun, Brendan said that Teresa was handcuffed to the bedpost, right? When they forensically checked the bedpost, what did they find? Jack 61. Guys, what did they find?
Nothing.
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 Think about it. If you're handcuffed to metal handcuffs and you're wriggling and you're moving, what are you going to do to the bedposts? You're going to
Scratch the hell out of it.
You're going to scratch them. If you're bleeding, what are you going to leave behind on the cuffs and also on the bed head, on
Blood.
the bed
DNA,
Yes.
man.
DNA, blood.
DNA.
Sin-
Skin, yeah.
skin,
Tissue.
hair, tissue, everything. When the investigators checked the bed heads, they found nothing. So straight away, we've got two major problems with Brendan's story. A, the bed's in the wrong orientation. B, when they looked at the bed heads, they couldn't find any scratches. They couldn't find any blood. They couldn't find any DNA. But, Susan.
Do you think he hung that belt on the gun just to make it look not suspicious?
Correct. Correct. And if you have a look at the next picture, right, the investigators took the bottom of the bed because Brendan said, well, she was chained up. Her legs were chained up. When they looked at the bed head, the posts, what did they find on them?
Nothing.
Nothing. So when you look at it, and remember, Fassbender and Wiegert had this information because they already tested. Now, wait a minute. Or didn't they test? They had the handcuffs. Did they only test these after Brendan's recollections? Because remember, Kratz in a press conference says, now we know where to look. But clearly, when they went to check the bed head, the top and the bottom, they found nothing. Right? So if we have a look at the next slide, they took the mattress. What did they find on the mattress?
Nothing.
Nothing. So and you'll see later on in the interrogation session, you've got this incredible act of violence on that mattress, on that bed, in that bedroom. And forensically, did they prove that Teresa Horbach was ever in that bedroom?
Nope.
No. What did a cadaver dog, Brutus, hit in Stephen's master bedroom?
No.
Nope.
No. So it's Brendan Dassey 0, forensic evidence 1. Right? The forensic evidence disproved Brendan's recollections. Guys, would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Would you, unless somehow Stephen Avery was able to forensically expunge Teresa Horbach from his entire trailer. But you
Not
see,
not a chance.
Possible.
Impossible. That could not be the case, right? All right. So that's why what we're doing in this podcast is we're looking at what Brendan said. We're saying, is there any truth? Is there any veracity in what he's saying? And so far, it's a big fat 0. It doesn't match up at all. All right. Neverly, do you have any comments?
Yes, Becca Chu just joined us.
Oh,
and
welcome.
so did Scooby. So welcome both.
Welcome.
And
Welcome.
Becca said the mattress the cops had in the crime scene, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, Kucharski did, taking notes. All right. And also on cam, we heard Colburn say, yeah, we checked the mattress, we checked the box spring, we checked this, we checked that, and we found nothing. So not any obvious violence occurring in Stephen Avery's master bedroom or the trailer. All right, guys, shall we continue with the reading?
Sure.
Okay.
So we're still talking about Brendan seeing Teresa, quote unquote,
Yep.
naked in the bed. Pinned up.
Yes. So keep note of this. She's now allegedly naked to the bed.
And alive.
And alive.
Yeah.
And alive.
Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah,
How do you know?
because she was moving around.
Was she making any noise?
It's all right, bud.
Yeah,
What was she saying?
screaming for help.
What was handcuffed? Her hands or her legs or both?
Both.
And what were they handcuffed to?
Like the hand, like there is round poles on each side.
Okay.
Of his bed? Brandon nods yes. And you're getting there, okay? Let's get back up again. And did you go get the mail?
Yeah,
When you went to get the mail with your bike, did you hear something at that time, or did it happen when you came back with the mail? You can do it. Just tell us the truth.
when I came back.
Okay. So this is remarkable. From the time that Brendan gets his bike and rides out, Teresa Horbach doesn't say a word. No screaming. But serendipitously, when Brendan is coming back with the mail, all of a sudden, Teresa Horbach allegedly is screaming. Isn't that remarkable?
And Brian
right.
doesn't hear her.
Okay.
Nobody hears anything.
No blame. No blame.
Nor blame.
No blame. Who's home? Okay. Shall we continue, guys?
Sure. Fassbender, I gotta believe this is in your mind right now, like a picture. Brandon nods yes. There's a video in your mind, this whole thing, and you're trying to get it out. And the only way you can get it out is by talking about it right now. So you came back. Did you have a letter for Stephen?
Yeah,
Did you go to his trailer?
yeah,
Did you hear screaming coming from inside the trailer?
yeah.
What did you do then? You had to, are you at the door or where are you? When you first hear the screaming, where are you?
Like by the other camper that we passed.
Way down there?
Mm-hmm.
You hear screaming halfway or a quarter way down to the front road, your driveway road.
Yeah.
Are you able to make out any of the words?
No.
Okay. Take me from there and be honest, so we don't have to keeping back up here, because we know, but we need it in your words. I can't say it.
Brendan, I already know. You know we know, okay? Come on, buddy. Let's get this out, okay?
Uyghur places his hand on Brendan's knee.
Yep.
I'm sure everybody remembers that.
Yes, he moves in very close, places his hand on his knee, read technique.
Mm-hmm. You're coming back with a mail. Take us through it. It's the video in your head. Play it for us.
Video.
Mm-hmm.
And what is Brendan Dassey shocking at recalling? Information.
Memory.
Memory.
Yeah.
He has a terrible memory. And
So now we're playing the video.
Yep, play the video, right? It kept on as though he can have instant recall. Here's a huge problem. We have a look at the next slide, Jack 61. So I went to look at this. This is where Brendan is talking about. Right there, that camper. So on his way back, Brendan, he is screaming, a female voice coming from Stephen Avery's trailer. So what I did is I went to Google Earth. That's got, you can map the distance. If we have a look at the, and mind you, down the road is Mama Avery, right? And also there's Chuck as well. And there's Earl, who's in the yard. No one mentions hearing anybody screaming. So if you go to Google Earth, the distance from that camper, that trailer, to Stephen's trailer, the bedroom, is around about 400 feet. And as you can see, Brendan's residence, where Brendan lives, there would have been a Brian, there would have been Blaine, is much closer. They don't hear any screaming. Yet Brendan is able to hear screaming from about 400 feet. Teresa Hallbach is inside a trailer. So, guys, are you a little bit suspicious of Brendan's recollections here that he can audibly hear a lady screaming from 400 feet? Susan?
Yeah. If he heard it from there, whoever was in the house would have heard it.
Yep.
In the garage.
Yet Bobby wasn't listening for it.
No, Bobby comes a little bit later. That's correct. Bobby never listened to it when he left.
Right.
When he left.
Said. I wasn't
Correct.
listening.
Correct. Does anyone have any other comments? All good? How we're going in chat so far? All good?
Oh, doing great. Yeah.
We're doing good.
Awesome.
Yeah, we
Awesome.
have a new person, Corey Ryan, who says, "Hi, you're all doing great, guys. Love the program. I'm a local and can definitely say cops here are still trying to cover up 1985. This is getting exciting."
Yep. Yeah, no question about that. All right. So let's continue. Okay. So let's take Brendan at his word that he hears the screaming from that distance. All right, let's keep going, guys.
Okay, you come back with the mail. What happens?
Well, I stopped and I seen if there was any mail for me. So, and I seen Stephen. So I went over there right away to bring it over by him. And I knocked like 3 times and he finally came.
Are you hearing anything coming from the other side of the trailer this time?
Yeah.
What?
The words help me.
Okay. That's got to be pretty devastating, right? Brendan nods yes. But you still knock.
Mm-hmm.
You went into the trailer then? Brendan
Brendan nods yes. You knock and he comes to the door. What's he look like? Is he dressed? Has he got anything on him? What's he look like?
He's got a white shirt on with red shorts and all sweaty.
He's all sweaty. Brendan nods yes. Any blood at this time?
No.
All right.
Does he let you in the trailer?
He asked me in the kitchen.
He what?
He walks me into the kitchen.
What does he say to you?
If I want a soda.
Does he know you've heard anything? Is she still saying stuff?
Yeah.
Then he walks you into the kitchen. Brendan nods yes. Okay. Play the video for us, Brendan. Bud, tell us what's happening. Bud, sorry. Tell us what's happening.
It's okay. Tell us what happened. What did he say to you?
That he never got some of that stuff, so he wanted to get some.
Never got what?
A girl.
Okay.
What'd you say just a second ago, though?
Repeat what you said.
That he wanted to get some.
Some what?
Pussy.
That's what he said to you? Brendan nods yes. Okay.
Now I can start believing you, okay? Brendan nods yes.
So, do you have a soda?
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens next?
I opened it and drank
Oh
some.
my God. And I left it and I held it in my left hand and I was scratching my ear with the right hand. Yeah.
Now,
What's he saying to you? Okay.
yeah,
It
now
is
let
so
me-
it is so ridiculous at this point.
it-
We're talking about it here on,
Oh, yeah.
beyond Pluto and the Capitol Belt.
Yep. But you got to remember, if you watch the video, he's blasé. He has no expression. He's not even looking at Fassbender and Wiegert. He's got his eyes down. And the way he responds, it's in a monotone. He doesn't get excited. There's no crying. There's no yelling. It's the way Cherie is reading it out is perfect. It's exactly like
agree.
Brendan. It's exactly like Brendan, including the pauses. In fact, in a lot of time, Brendan pauses for 5-10 seconds. He's thinking, what answer am I going to give? So think about this. He's now gone into the trailer where he sees a naked woman chained to the bed. What does he do? He sits in the kitchen and has a soda.
Yeah.
She's screaming for help. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he drinks. He goes, open the can, I drank some. But what is interesting here, and please don't be disgusted in what I'm saying, is the term that he used, pussy. What's
Yep.
the number one search term on the Dassey computer?
Absolutely.
That one.
That one.
Yep.
That one there. It's interesting that he used that to, Stephen wanted to get some. And notice how Fassbender and Wiegert go ding, ding. So now you know what's about to happen, right? Naked woman chained to a bed. Stephen wanted to get some. Where do you think they're going to go next?
Did you get some, Brendan?
And into the bedroom. Or did you get some?
Yep. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's continue, guys.
What's he saying to you? Pause. It's all right.
Come on.
You're doing the right
Oh.
thing.
Come on. What's he saying?
That he wants to keep on doing it,
Okay.
Doing what?
raping her.
What kind of words is he using, though? You can say those words here.
That he wanted to fuck her so hard.
Yeah.
Could you see her at that time?
No.
Okay. What happens next? Remember, we already know, but we need to hear it from you. It's okay. It's not your fault. What happens next?
Uyghur touches Brendan.
Mm-hmm.
Does he ask you?
He does, doesn't he?
We know.
He asks you, doesn't he? Brendan nods yes. What does he ask you?
That if I wanted the girlfriend.
Tell us how he said it.
That if he wanted me to get some pussy.
Yeah. Okay.
And then what happens next?
That he said that if I wanted to, I could get some, but not right now.
Okay, come on. Be honest. You went back in that room.
Tell us now, Brendan.
We know you were back there. Let's get it all out today, and this will be all over with.
He asked you if you want some, right? Brendan nods yes. That's what you told us.
Mm-hmm.
If you want some pussy.
Why?
Oh, what did you tell him?
I said I wasn't aged, and so he took me back there and showed me some.
What did he show you?
Her naked body.
Okay. Was she alive?
Yeah,
Is she talking?
yeah.
What'd she say? What's she saying? I know it's hard, but you gotta tell us. What'd she say?
The video will never go away unless you can talk to us about it.
Now notice they're piling on the questions. He hasn't even got a chance to answer. They're piling on the questions. Bang, 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 bang.
And information.
And information, correct. You went there. Oh, you did go back there. We know, Brendan. We already know, right? So they're entrapping him, right? He's being led into the bedroom, a place
This is
he's never been. Jack
and
61.
this is like the fourth time Fassbender said play that video in your head.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And remember what Brendan Dassey said in court. I got out of the book. Which book? Kiss the Girls. The video in his head. The video in his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. President had
See it like a
comment.
movie.
A movie,
Yes.
correct.
And the video will never go away unless you
Yep.
talk about it. Yeah.
Yep.
Mr. President said, these references to a video, which are numerous, make me wonder if they played one for Brendan and were encouraging him to recall that.
Well, that is possible. That is possible. It's possible that Brendan defaulted to the simplest thing. He saw this film. You wonder whether he actually did see pornographic material on his brother's computer, because the stuff that he's coming out with, remember what was found on the Dassey computer, torture and all sorts of nasty stuff. I'm not saying Brendan did, but you're just wondering where he's getting all this narrative from. Later on, as you'll see when he mentions in court, I got out of the book, Kiss the Girls. Now, we checked. Kiss the Girls was being shown on cable TV. Kiss the Girls, the movie, and the book was available in his library. We checked. So,
Yeah.
and we asked Barb, and Barb asked Brent, this was ages ago, and Brendan said, yeah, I saw it before I got questioned. So I had seen the film.
You know what's so sad? When on the last page, when we were reading it, Brendan said something in regards to, getting some, quote unquote. He said, I'm not of age.
Yes,
Not aged.
he grew a conscience.
I'm not
Yeah.
aged. Yeah.
He grew a conscience. He said, oh, I'm too young. Remember, Teresa Horbach was 9 years older than Brendan. 9 years older. He's a kid. And he was trying to get his first girlfriend, Emily, I think her name was. Is that right, guys?
Yes,
Emily.
Emily. That's correct. That's right.
Yeah. And he felt bad and he was losing weight, etc., etc. And now we are to believe that he raped a woman that was 9 years his senior,
Yeah.
shackled up to a bed. You could only imagine the horror scenario of that.
After
Okay.
he had the soda.
Yeah, but he
Corey
had
Ryan-
but he had the soda first. Just go in the
Correct.
kitchen and have a soda.
course.
And you got this naked woman in the back bedroom screaming, and we're just sitting around having
chained to
a
the
Pepsi.
bed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Corey Ryan said the video they're referring was Kiss the Girls. The movie had been playing in the area just prior,
Correct.
and somebody actually bought extra time so it can continue playing in our area. So this
Correct.
is a local.
Correct. I double checked as well. We found the actual clip showing in the Wisconsin area, and Brendan does recollect watching and reading, and then later reading the book Kiss the Girls. And I did a presentation on Kiss the Girls, and the narrative that Brendan says and draws is straight from the movie. Straight, right, guys? Straight, word for word, pattern match, with a woman chained up in the bed, exactly like you see in the film. It is that
Yeah.
scary.
But even if you didn't know all of this in the background, Fassbender's insistence of the word video, play the video, play the video,
Correct.
play the video is just obnoxious
Correct.
because
Correct.
it's out of the blue, kind of. And he
Correct.
is introducing this whole video. So yeah, maybe Mr. President is right. Maybe they showed him something. Or Brendan, maybe they asked him, hey, what did you do the night before? And he said, I watched Kiss the Girls or whatever. You know what I mean? And they latched onto that.
Yeah, and I think at Fox Hills, they had cable. I checked it, and it's likely was showed on that network while he was there at Fox Hills. It's very, very possible. All right. Shall we continue, guys?
Just a couple days prior.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
2 days
Yeah.
prior. 2 days prior.
Yeah.
So play the video in your head. He did.
Yeah.
He did.
It's just obnoxious because nobody ever mentioned any video or movies or whatever, and he's insistent.
No. And that's why, guys, to properly analyze what Brendan says, you have to put in a lot of work to take it apart. That's what Judge Duffin did. Would you agree, guys? That's exactly what Judge Duffin did. He took his time,
Yes.
took it apart, and he goes, "This is all bullshit," right? And that's
Yeah.
why if you look at the interrogation, you go, "Jeepers! Either Brendan's telling the truth or it's all crap." So, how do you determine whether it's true or crap? You look for things of corroboration, things that
Corroborate. Yes.
corroborate, things that support what he says. And that's why the investigators, they scrambled straight to the RAV, right, guys? Shit. The day after, what do? They go to the RAV, they check underneath the seats. My God, did we miss a knife? Did we miss a weapon? Did we miss something? Right? So they're scrambling. They're looking for corroboration. But their forensic evidence, their CSI says, sorry, boys, nothing happened in here. There's nothing here. So
Yeah.
they're
There's no way the crime lab would have missed that. There's no way.
No, you're right, guys. You're right, right? And that's why I put up the narrative of what Stephen said to the investigators on the 6th and the 9th without prompting us. Yeah, my mum brought over the mail. That's it. Now, even if Brendan went to the mailbox, Mum Avery already got Stephen's mail or Chuck got it. There should be nothing in there, right? So the whole thing, you put it apart. It's like a carpet and you pull a thread. Brendan's narrative is being taken apart strand by strand, right? But it gets worse. Shall we continue, guys?
Go ahead. What'd she say?
She's asking Stephen, why would he do something like that?
Did she say anything to you? Does she see you?
Yeah.
Does she say something to you?
No.
Describe again. Were you accurate when you described how she was on the bed, how she's attached, where she is? Tell us that and be truthful again.
That she was chained up to the bed and she faced up.
Face up, no clothes
Face
on?
up. Oh, sorry.
Uh-huh.
What do you mean she's chained up? Explain that.
Like some handcuffs.
Where are the handcuffs? On her arms or on her legs or where?
Both.
Okay.
Do you remember the color of the handcuffs and the leg irons?
Regular ones.
Which would be what color?
Silver.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're starting to get into detail. Right? She's chained up in the bed using handcuffs and leg irons. So I checked, right? And yes, Stephen and Barb, they went to an adult shop, and I even wrote the date here, October the 9th. And they purchased their toys, their novelty toys, right? One pull and the whole thing falls apart. These are not police issue handcuffs and leg irons, right? They're novelty toys, okay? So what did remember what Kratz said? And I think they even mentioned on cam that Stephen was fast forward projecting in raping and murdering Teresa Horbach from October the 9th. Because Jody was in the jail. So why is Barb and Stephen buying these novelty toys, right? So they're already projecting in on cam and in the book that they purchased these because Stephen was fast forwarding of raping, torturing, and murdering Teresa Horbach. Does anyone believe that?
No.
No.
But here's the other problem. We got 2 arms and 2 legs. How many handcuffs and leg irons do you see there? One set, which
One
means
set.
where did Brendan get the other set from? Or where did Stephen get the other set from? He had to get his sisters.
We would have had
Which
to.
are
They're-
pink or leopard or
Yeah, that's
combination
right.
of,
Had the
yeah.
leopard. Had the leopard.
I mean,
So
we're talking about 4 sets of handcuffs of some sort, and
Yep.
they don't have it.
No. So could you imagine the situation whereby Stephen's knocking on his sister's door? Oh, do you mind if I borrow your pink fluffy cup?
Could you
please?"
imagine?
You know, just to try it out, right? And so even and Colburn goes, oh, we went in Stephen's bedroom. Remember the cabinet? Because we saw these cuffs and leg irons. Maybe Teresa was restrained in some manner, right? So they confiscate them, but they're toys, they're novelty toys, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty
I'd-
darn
I'd-
sure the ones Stephen bought were animal print. I
Me
remember
too.
seeing that on the receipt.
I think
And
so
Barb
too,
bought
Susan.
they-
pink
So they
fluffy
removed
ones.
that.
I
to
think
make
they
them
did.
look-
More
To
sinister.
make it more like legit.
Yeah, to make it
Yeah.
more sinister.
Yeah, but the
Maybe
metal,
Joe-
in, the,
Oh,
the
sorry.
metal in those cuffs is really not
Flimsy.
strong. That's right. An adult female or male, whatever, could twist their way out of them. Come on, man.
Jody said that.
Yeah, that's what I
Jody
was gonna
was
say.
very
Jody
like
said all you do
very,
is you just click it
yeah,
and it
yeah.
opens.
And it
Right.
was all consensual, and they were just playing, and which they have the right to do that.
They could do what they want in their own bedroom, in their
Yeah.
own privacy, right?
Consenting adults.
But Fallon brought them in court and paraded them in front of Brendan.
Bastard.
That's what he did. He paraded them, right? And Brendan didn't even flinch. Why? Because he never seen them. He never seen them. He never used them, right? Never even flinched. Now, did they find forensic evidence on those cuffs? Be careful how you answer. Did they find any DNA on those cuffs?
Just the woman from the store, was it?
They found DNA. They found Stephen's DNA and an unknown lady.
Yeah,
Wasn't
unknown
Teresa.
female.
Yeah.
So here's
Oh, Jody.
you never know. So here's the trick.
Right.
Here's the trick. If Stephen forensically cleaned his bedroom, don't you think one of the items you would clean would be the cuffs?
Be the
Or he
first
would have
time, one of the
thrown
first
away.
items, or throw them away, throw them at the fire, and
Yeah.
burn them up, or drop
Correct.
them drive it to Lake Michigan and throw them in. They'd never be found again.
The mere fact that they found Stephen's DNA and an unknown female that I don't think they had Jody's profile means that Stephen never cleaned them.
No.
Right? It goes to show how ridiculous the situation is, right? So every item they've tested came up 0. Everything that Brendan said came up 0.
Yep.
So Brendan's talking about getting the mail, seeing the RAV4 outside, knocking on the door, seeing Stephen all sweaty, and that's where Kratz got the idea of sweaty uncle and sweat DNA from, right? Everything in the bedroom, 0. They tested the cuffs that Teresa was allegedly pinned up in the bed. Nothing.
Nothing.
Hey
Nothing.
guys, there's a couple of questions and a comment, if I may.
Yeah.
Mr. President is asking, Are there recorded jail calls with Jody on or around October 9 where he mentions buying sex toys?
I don't think I've listened to those.
We don't have them that.
don't-
We don't have them that early,
No.
do we, Jeff?
No. I've asked for them and was denied. They are recorded. This is handled by Evercom. Remember, guys, Evercom handles the jail calls, and of course that's a money-making scheme.
Yes.
So, but I've asked for jail calls prior to the 28th and was denied. They won't let me have them. But I'm sure they've got them.
But in case so, they do what Neverly said. Jody does talk about the cuffs.
Yes.
It was just a game. It was just a game.
Because they were trying to say that he was abusive and that he was sexually assaulting her and all of that, and she laughed into their face.
Oh yeah, that was in September of 06. Almost a year later, they go and interview her. Remember, we got that recording, and she's like, just talk about being tied up with, some kind of little, not rope, but whatever. And she said, well, I could just undo my hands. It wasn't like, she
Correct.
wouldn't flip, she wouldn't budge because they wanted her to
No.
really pour it on.
No.
Yeah, she was like, you guys are ridiculous. Of course, they're like just toys. Like you can just wiggle out.
Toys.
And yeah.
They're toys. They're not police issue, right?
Yeah.
And remember,
It's also,
Susan.
I was just going to say, it's also possible in those earlier calls that Stephen talked about changing his furniture around
Yes, that'll be.
prior to Teresa.
And I don't want that out.
Maybe
I
I'll
don't want
re-request it. Maybe I'll re-request those.
Yep, that I don't want that out.
I think I
They
will.
should be available.
Actually,
Yes.
I think I'm gonna request them from Manitowoc instead of Calumet County.
Because remember, there was the controversy that I think they showed it in cam. They showed only played a part of a phone call where Dolores was speaking to Stephen. Oh, you shouldn't have done that to the bedroom because it was unsafe and there was a hole, etc., etc.
That's right.
And what they were promoting was Stephen vacuum cleaned his bedroom and changed his bedroom. I debunked it. It wasn't a main bedroom. It was a bedroom next door. They had the hole in the ceiling.
It was the spare bedroom.
It was a spare bedroom. The water had dripped on the ground and damaged the wood. And Stephen even said that Roland had to change the carpet. And there's a carpet strip gone. They were talking about the wrong bedroom. But that goes to show the danger of only listening to part of a phone call and then trying to make context in it without listening to the entire lot.
Full context. We've talked about that forever.
Cherry picking.
And that's why you have to be careful if you listen to Brendan's phone calls. Don't just listen to part. You got to listen to the entire lot to make sense of what was going on, right?
Right, because Brendan's like 7 questions behind trying to answer something, and they're just hammering his ass.
Oh yeah, correct. There's a question by Corey. Does someone want to read that out?
I think Neverly wanted to read Corey's comment.
Yeah, Corey's comment. When I asked Barb about Kiss the Girls, it was like pulling teeth to get an answer. Also, Barb was warned not to go to the media with what she knew. Law enforcement forced her to conspire. And it's not Barb's fault. Law enforcement does that to the families around here. It's divide and conquer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Totally
exactly
believe
what
this.
they did.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they did. But last year, I think, I asked Barb because she was seeing her son, what he knew about Kiss the Girls. And Brendan told Barb I'd seen Kiss the Girls before I got questioned by Fassbender and Uyghur, and that blew my mind because that made perfect sense. There's no point in him seeing the film after he said all this stuff. He saw it beforehand.
And
right?
that's why I think that kind of came out when maybe they were just asking him, what did you do the day before or the afternoon before or whatever. And he mentioned that and they latched onto it.
Correct.
Yeah. And then Mr. President says, how come store lady's prints were on handcuffs she touched once, but Teresa's daily key and lanyard had no molecules of her?
That's correct. That's correct. So in other words, you can dispel the notion that Teresa was shackled using those cuffs and to Stephen's bed. There's no forensic evidence. There is no proof. There is no damage on the bed heads, nothing. But what is disturbing is, what did Kayla write in her statement? Teresa was pinned up to a
Chair.
chair. And Wicked goes, oh, same thing. So no matter,
Same thing.
same thing. No matter what Brendan's attorneys were saying to prove the whole narrative was just absolute garbage, Wicked goes, oh yeah, we expected that. Oh yeah, chair, bed, who cares? Same thing. Wicked would never admit that they got it wrong. And yes, to answer that question, there were no marks on the bed, the bed heads, the knobs, no abrasion marks, nothing. And they checked.
Before we move on, Doc, just one more thing. Just a comment to Corey. And, you know, I can't speak for Barb. None of us really can. But I do know, you know, regardless of, you know, what may have been said to her by, you know, somebody potentially from law enforcement or whatever, no matter what, Barb has to be careful about what she says publicly.
Yes.
Because this is an active case right now that, you know, could potentially involve her or someone in her family. I'm just saying, she has to be careful about what she says. Because you never know what's going to come up down the road. Go ahead, Doc.
We were told by Laura Nyrider, and she asked Brendan and told us not to play or put his calls on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, he didn't want them played. I don't blame him.
And nor his attorney.
And we complied.
And we got a lot of heat for it. We got a lot of heat for it.
We did.
Oh my
that
God.
We're hiding, that we're, you know, controlling and whatever. Yep. And it's like, how stupid can you be? Maybe ask yourself, there's a reason why we didn't do something.
Yep. We copped a lot of heat that we're trying to control the narrative.
We did, yeah.
We got asked by Brendan himself and his attorney not to put them on.
And obviously, whoever was complaining about that does not respect the wishes of of Brendan. Yeah.
That's we even did a podcast. That's what we never put on. And
we've got other information about minors that we haven't published and are not going to publish, because what gain would there be in that? What value? You know, I get it, you know, but we're not like, you know, what would you say, a investigative reporter? That's not our role. That's not my role. I don't think Doc looks at it that way, or anyone else in Foul Play. That's not who we are.
No. We could have got hundreds of thousands of extra clicks and thousands more subscribers. No, that's not what we're here for.
No,
that's not what we're here for. And we've listened to a lot of Brendan's calls. We could debunk Brendan in 5 minutes. What he was saying was just rubbish, absolute rubbish. But we subscribe to his wishes and his attorney's wishes, because I think, as Susan and Neverly said, and also Corey, you got to be careful what you put out in the public, because people run with it. Mm-hmm. They run with it. And then you go back and you go, oh, well, I never meant it like that. It's too late. The genie's out of the bottle, right? It's like Kratz now apologizing for doing the press conference, right? It's too late. The horse is bolted.
Well, his version of apologizing, but yeah.
Correct. All right. So if we have a look at the next slide, remember the investigators went in the bedroom. They stripped the place. There's no evidence that any furniture got moved. Now, I dare you, if you've got carpet at your house, you got a chair or a bed, lift up the leg of the bed. What do you see on the carpet? You see a
divot.
A divot. Yep. You see that cupboard right there? That's where Stephen originally had his bed. Do you see any divots in the carpet?
Nope. And I've looked.
Nothing.
I've looked.
Nothing.
No.
Right? So that picture, I think on the 5th or the 6th or whenever they took it was relatively recent because they stripped the bed. There is no divots in the carpet. The divots can last for weeks until they flatten themselves out. You can use a cleaner, a vacuum cleaner. It's not going to take out the divot because you've got a heavy object on the carpet. There's nothing, no marks, and no evidence of movement of any of the bed, any of the bedroom furniture. And can you see Stephen Avery? Think about it. He changes his entire bedroom. What does he leave in his cupboard? Teresa's key.
Yeah.
Think about it. I'm going to clean my entire bedroom. I'm going to make sure I'm going to wipe out all of Teresa's DNA, blood, sweat, you name it. Oh, but I'm going to leave her key where the coppers can easily find it in 2 seconds.
It's the
Right next to
dumbest-
the porn
the dumbest
Right next
shit
to the right, and the cuffs,
and the cups. Yeah.
and the cuffs.
dumbest shit I've ever heard. I swear to God.
Right? And what did Fassbender say? Well, you know, I wanted the investigators to go in there one more time just in case we missed the key we planted. And you're thinking, what the hell?
Yeah, and everybody pay attention to how tight this bedroom is. Kacharski's he's sitting on that bed right there. That little cabinet straight across from him.
Straight across
And
the room.
I don't think everyone agrees, but I think a lot of us agree that he's the one that's supposed to have found that
Jarsky was
key.
meant to have found the key. Correct. 100%
And he
correct.
missed and he missed it. He may be looking at a Playboy or something. I don't know.
I don't know, but they weren't impressed with the pornography. Remember? They weren't
No.
impressed.
No.
All right, guys, shall we continue? I think we're on page 55, Jack 61. Okay, let's go, guys.
Now, are her legs spread apart or are they together? Or tell us how it looks.
Like spread apart a little bit.
So he brings you back there and he shows you her. Brendan nods yes. And what do you do? Honestly, because we think
Very important.
we know happened.
It's hard to be truthful.
We know what happened. It's okay. What did you do?
I didn't do nothing.
Brendan, Brandon, come on. What'd you do?
What does Steven make you do? Oh.
It's not your fault. He makes you do it.
Mm-hmm.
He told me to do her
Okay. What's that mean to you?
to screw her.
Okay. Did you do that? Honestly.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Take a breath, Ren. Take a breath. That's very hard to admit to. Did he watch?
Yeah.
You said you tell us what you did. You take your clothes off?
All right.
Gotta stop right here. Seriously,
Cringe.
I didn't do nothing, and all of a sudden, boom!
Right.
Did it? I did it. Yep, he did it.
And you watch the tape. No change in expression. He just admitted to raping a 25-year-old woman chained to a bed naked.
Bland.
Just like that. Just like that. Yeah. He just admitted to rape. He had no idea. Had no idea.
And if she's chained up to that bed, her legs are to one post on each side. Her legs are spread more than a little bit apart. Sorry,
Correct.
I'm not trying to be gross or
No.
whatever.
No,
But it's
correct.
more than a little bit.
Correct. He's got no idea. But he's just now admitted to rape. And remember what he said? Oh, can I go back to class? How long am I going to get? A day in prison? He had no idea. He just admitted to rape.
Not
Okay.
a clue.
No, he's got no idea. Okay, let's continue, guys.
Yeah.
Who's Fassbender? Neverly, I think you're muted.
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah. And you had intercourse with her? Brenda nods yes.
What does intercourse mean to you?
That you stuck it in her,
Stuck what in her? It's okay.
my penis,
And where did you stick it?
in her vagina,
Okay. How many times did you do that? How long did it take?
5 minutes.
Okay. What did you do after that?
Put my clothes back on,
Okay. Where's Steve at this time?
standing by the door.
What does Steve do then?
Told me I did a good job.
Was she saying anything while you were doing this? Brendan shakes head no. Why?
I don't know.
Did she have anything over her mouth, or was it clear? Tell us the truth.
It was clear.
I'm speechless. He allegedly had sex with Teresa Horbach for 5 minutes in front of his uncle, with Teresa yelling and screaming. And because she didn't have anything covering her mouth, what do you think the first thing Teresa Horbach would have done to Brendan? Nothing covering her mouth. What do you think she would have
been
done?
screaming, "Stop her!
Scream at
Don't
him.
do it!" Right.
And not only
Oh,
that,
didn't she say
I'm
knock it
sorry.
off?
in bite out of him.
I'm sorry, 5
Bite.
minutes. It would have been like 20 seconds. His
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
time having sex.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was going to
Poor
give him the
guy.
benefit of the. I was going to give him a benefit of the doubt and say a minute and a half, but I don't know.
No.
20
Minute
seconds.
and- Yeah.
Well,
No.
he's 16 years old and he's never done anything like that before. Yeah, that's going to be over. That's going to be over pretty quick.
You know
Yeah.
that joke? No offense to Polacks, but a Polish sex instructional book. Step 1, insert the penis into vagina. Step 2, repeat if necessary.
Repetitiveness.
God.
There you go. We've been demonetized. All our Polish supporters have gone. See step 1. No, but the stupidity of what Brendan just described, it's totally ridiculous. Him performing sexually for 5 minutes in front of his uncle for the first time. He's a virgin.
I have to ask a question because I've never seen Kiss the Girls or read the book. Is there some parallels going on here?
Yes, there is. There is sexual assault on a kitchen table. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought I'd heard you or somebody say that, but I couldn't remember for sure.
There is. There's parallels here. And in Kiss the Girls, guess what? There is a woman tied up to the bed with her arms and her legs. It's exactly what Brendan is describing, and she doesn't have a cover on her mouth. Yeah, it's shocking. Now, then, does anybody, all seriousness, I want to go down the panel and I want people in chat to say yes or no. Do you believe Brendan Dassey raped Teresa Horbach? Yes or no? Jack 61.
No.
Susan.
No.
Neverly.
Oh, fuck. No.
No. I'll take it. That's a no.
Yeah.
Cherie.
Not a chance.
Yep. No chance. Absolutely no chance. That's not describing a rape. No way. I'm sorry, but I cannot believe that all these adults believe that Brendan Dassey had raped a 25-year-old woman in that manner in front of his uncle for 5 minutes. And notice what they asked him. What'd you do after? I just put my clothes on. Oh, yeah?
Had a soda.
Put your clothes on, did you? Yeah. No. No. Did you use a condom? Did you use nothing? Nothing. He was raping Teresa Horbach, had her mouth uncovered. If I was Teresa, I would have taken a bite at him. A bite. Were there any marks, bite marks on Stephen or Brendan?
Nope.
None. No bite marks. No deep scratches, nothing. Right? The whole thing is bullshit. This kid's in prison for something he never did. And the jury convicted him of sexual assault, rape. He's still a
Yeah,
virgin.
he got life in
He's
prison,
yep,
man.
He's still a
Yeah.
virgin.
And Gloria in chat said, I don't think Brendan ever met her.
No, he never did.
Yeah.
He did.
He never did. He never did. Okay, guys, shall we continue?
Sure. There was nothing covering her mouth. Brendan shakes no. Did she ask you not to do this to her?
Yeah.
Tell me what she said.
She told me not to do it, and told me not to do the right thing.
Which was what?
Not to do it, and to tell Stephen to knock it off.
Did she ask you to do anything else for her?
To uncuff her.
Go ahead. Anything else? Brendan shakes head no. Pause. Were these things she was saying to you while you were doing this act?
Yeah.
Was she kind of saying it softly or loud enough for what?
Well, she was crying, and
Okay.
After you're done, and you put your clothes on, what happens next?
he told me I did a good job, and then he closed the door.
Okay.
Took me in the living room, watched a little TV.
Oh my God.
Seriously.
Both of you did? Brendan nods yes.
She didn't stay in the bedroom or go back in there?
Check 61.
That's
You got a comment?
I mean, seriously. Got done, shut the door, went into the living room, watched some TV. And you got, no. What?
No. No.
Yeah,
but
as any rapist does, you know.
yeah, but
We're,
but
out,
not.
we're out in bozo land here.
Yep. Oh, well, look how farcical it is. When he walks in and he heard Teresa screaming, saw her naked, pinned to the bed. What's his immediate thing? Oh, we had a soda. After he raped Teresa Hobart. What is it? What's a bit of TV? What's a bit of TV?
Yeah.
His
Why
first-
didn't they ask him?
First
Okay,
time.
not to be gross, but why didn't they ask him, did you wipe or wash off? You know what I mean?
Right.
Nothing.
Words?
You cleaned
Nothing.
up?
Nothing.
Yeah.
And there will be
Soft or
semen
how?
there will be semen stains, vaginal stains, sorry to be crude, everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
And did they swab his jeans for Teresa's DNA?
I looked. They found nothing. I found nothing.
They did look? Yeah.
Yes, and let me tell you
course
right
not.
now. Remember in is Daniel the one in England?
Holtzclaw?
No,
No.
the other one. The boy that allegedly killed his girlfriend. Daniel was
Oh.
in
Yeah,
England.
yeah. You're talking about Jody something.
Jody. Who
Oh,
killed
Luke
Oh,
Mitchell.
Luke.
Luke Mitchell.
Luke Mitchell. Remember how they found a DNA in the underwear and the clothes, the shirt,
Yeah,
after
shirt.
being washed multiple times?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
They still
Yeah.
found the DNA. They found none of that on Brendan. And he said, I only washed the jeans once and I never wore them again. Absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
Absolute, utter bullshit that he had sex with Teresa Hallbach. No
Poor
flipping
baby.
way. No
And his
flipping way.
jeans are at the kitchen table 4 months
At the
later.
kitchen. At the kitchen table.
And he remembers that those are the jeans.
Yep.
And, 4 months later, they're still at the kitchen table. Not in his bedroom. I could see that, like in some
Yep.
corner. But
That's when they
at
walked
the
in
kitchen table.
and they found it at the kitchen table. Boom. Just like that. Unbelievable. All right, guys. Shall we continue? I think we're on page 58.
Okay.
How long did you watch TV?
About 15 minutes.
And then what happens?
And what's he saying while you're watching TV? Are you discussing this situation now?
Yeah.
What's he saying? What did he saying? As hard as this is, you gotta tell us what's he saying.
He told me that's how you do it. And
What else?
he asked me if it felt good.
Then what did you talk about? What else did you talk about?
That how he was going to get rid of it.
And what did he tell you?
That he was going to burn her.
When you say get rid of it, what do you mean?
Get rid of her body.
Okay.
Tick.
But she's not dead, right?
No, she's not dead.
And he says what?
That he was going to burn her body after that happened.
Was there anything else that you guys talk about?
No.
No. No. How about if we're caught? How about if Mama Avery knocks on the door or a brother?
Yeah. Or don't tell anybody or
Or
whatever.
a customer comes up that's looking at parts and hears somebody screaming for help.
Yeah, or his attorney rings. Now notice how long they watch TV for.
15 minutes.
15 minutes they sat there.
Yep.
15 minutes.
And another thing, the comment, sorry to interrupt, Dr. Silkman,
No,
that's
no,
how
no.
you do it. Where did we hear those exact words?
That's from Kratz.
Yeah.
That's from
That
Kratz.
was when that Stephanie wrote the report, and after, Kratz pretty much raped her, he said, that's how you do it, bitch.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Mhm.
That is exactly correct. All right. There was a question from four. It was a 4 Ravs or 3 Ravs?
3 Ravs.
Why not go for 4? Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Why isn't Stephen tending to that huge fire?
The fire is a big issue. The fire is a big issue. No one knows when it started. No one knows how long it went for. It's a disaster. And you're right. But you'll see from the further questioning that it was a last-minute decision to cremate Teresa Horbach, because you'll see that the original plan, according to Stephen, will throw her in the pond. Remember? That's what he said. We'll
Really
throw her in the
original.
pond.
Yeah.
On the Avery salvage yard.
Yeah.
We'll throw her in the pond.
It's crazy.
Absolutely insane. All right, guys, shall we continue? I think we're on 59. Yep.
Then what happens after that?
Is she alive yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
What happens after you're done watching TV for 15 minutes?
I told him I had to leave because I had to call Travis.
Oh my God. His
Brendan,
best
be
friend.
honest. You were there when she died, and we know that. Don't start lying now. We know you were there. What happened?
He ain't gonna lie to you. Hey, we know that, okay?
We already know. Don't lie to us now, okay? Come on. What happens next?
You're just hurting yourself if you lie now.
And then he went back in there and he stabbed her.
You were with him? Brendan nods yes. Yes?
Yeah.
Where did he stab her?
In the stomach.
What else did he do to her? He did something else. We know that. What else?
So he tied her up
What do you mean he tied her up?
so he could take her out there.
Before or after he stabbed her?
After.
When he stabbed her, did she scream or what?
Yeah.
How many times did he stab her?
Once,
Then show me where.
right here.
We know he did something else to her. What else did he do to her?
He choked her
How'd he do that? Tell me how he did it.
with his hands.
Was he on top of her?
Yeah,
And did he choke her until what? Did she go unconscious? What? Tell me.
that she couldn't breathe anymore.
Yeah? Did she fall asleep? Go unconscious?
Go unconscious.
Is that before or after he stabbed her?
After.
So he stabs her. Show me what he does. Just demonstrate for me.
Yeah, let's you come down the hallway. You go with him.
Yeah,
What does he tell you he's going to do at this time? You're going back to the bedroom?
that he was gonna tie her up and stab her and then choke her and
He told you this,
yeah,
and you went with him? He
that's
nods
it.
yes. He went into the bedroom. What does he do? Again, the video, you see it. I know you see it. What does he do?
That he grabs the rope that was on the side of the bed, tied her up, stabbed her like this, and jumped on her and started choking her.
Is she fighting at this time?
She's trying to move away,
Is she saying anything?
screaming.
You helped to tie her up, though, didn't you, Brendan? Because he couldn't tie her up alone. There's no way. Did you help tie her up?
Yeah,
Okay. Tell me what you did.
Go ahead, bud.
that he was on the other side, and we had to unhook the hands and tied her up.
So you helped unhook her hands? What exactly did you do? Tell me exactly what you did.
I got the key for the lock and unlocked it, and after I grabbed her arm, put it on the side, and tied her up.
What arm?
Her right one.
So you grab her right arm and you do what with it?
Put it on the side like this. I put the rope right here.
Did you tie her up in front or behind? Did you tie her? I guess I want to say, did you tie her hands up
Yeah,
in front or behind her body?
in front.
How? Like this or like this? Show us.
Like this.
Okay. What is she saying at this time? Or is he even telling her something? What's he telling her?
She was saying to stop doing what he was,
And what's he saying?
that he wouldn't.
It's
She'd
like
already gone unconscious.
that's right. It's like a running commentary,
Oh my
right?
God.
It's like reading a bad movie script,
No
right?
kidding.
So you think
What's he-
Sorry, Susan.
Sorry, Doc. I was continuing to read. Go ahead.
No, I was saying that he stabs her in the stomach, then jumps on top of Teresa and chokes her
With his hands as opposed
with
to
his
his
hands.
feet.
With his hands, right? And Teresa's saying, stop it. And Brendan is witnessing all of this horror going on. Neverly.
But he has to go home to call his best friend, Travis,
His
and
best
shoot
friend,
the shit.
Travis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Notice how they keep him there. No.
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
Be
Brendan's
honest.
trying to get away.
We know what happened.
Yeah.
Come on.
How many times did they say that?
Yep.
Play that.
And he
Play
did-
that video.
He did say that she went unconscious, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
He did.
Yes. So
And if I can just say one observation, which is in this transcript, you know how it says, did you do it like this or that? Show us. Was she stabbed? How did you tie her up? I think they should have also transcript that part, like Brendan is showing this general area, or you know what I mean, something descriptive,
Yeah.
because they do this describe when he nods his head yes or no.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
So basically, he's just you have to watch the video where he puts his hands basically in front. So
Yeah,
you
but
have
they did
to
like a
watch the video.
half-assed job because they were
Yeah.
describing when he was nodding yes or
Nodding, correct.
no,
Yes,
you know, and when there's a pause, but they didn't
correct,
do that, which is kind of important.
correct. Okay,
They
let's
normally
keep
do
going.
that in court transcripts.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Mhm. What's he saying though? I mean, what words is he using? Is he swearing at her? What's he saying?
He told her to shut her mouth up.
Is he telling her that he's gonna kill her? Is he telling her he's gonna let her go? What's he telling her?
That he was going to kill her.
Notice,
So-
sorry for interrupting. Notice it's a pattern match with exactly what Fassbender said. He just repeated. He just repeated
it's leading.
that he was going to kill her. It's a
It's
leading
totally
question.
leading. Yeah.
He
It's
just
all
repeated it.
leading.
Correct.
Yeah. So you tie her up, then what happens?
Then we get the other rope and tie her legs up.
How'd you do that?
Around the bottom, like where the
Show me on you where he does that, where you guys do that.
right here,
Who ties her legs up?
he does.
Do you help? Otherwise, she's gonna kick.
Yeah.
Ah,
Jesus,
Power
you
of
gotta say yes,
discretion.
Brendan.
But she's unconscious.
Did you help or not? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me how you did that.
I held her feet down.
Held her feet down? Brendan nods yes. And what did Steve do?
He tied her legs up.
Is this on the bed?
Mm-hmm.
Then what happens?
He told me to grab her feet and we took her outside.
Is she still alive?
No, she was unconscious. Or
Oh, okay. Okay.
What-
You
what?
got her tight. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's back
When
unconscious.
did that happen?
She's unconscious.
Yeah.
Yep. So she's unconscious, wakes up and says, "Don't you do that." And Stephen goes, "You shut up." And now she's unconscious again.
makes
And you
total
notice,
sense.
Because he was
notice how
gonna, she
they
was gonna
just-
kick him.
Correct.
and they,
Correct.
and they just pass right by that. Like
Correct. Correct.
She was just talking.
Yep. But if I could just interject, this is very important. You know why? Because that's how Kratz came up with the two murder scenarios. So where did Teresa Horbach die?
That's right.
Did she die
Mhm.
in the trailer, or did she die in the garage? And that's why you've got two different murder scenarios for the same victim in two
Right.
different times. That's the reason why.
I just don't see how that's legally even a
don't
question of being
either.
possible. I really
No,
don't.
they got away with that.
Insane.
They
They
did.
got away with it. That's why Fassbender and Wig are saying, she alive? She dead? Is she clothed? She got clothes on? So all these questions, they're trying to work out in their mind, where did Teresa Horbach actually die? Right? And that's, again, why Kratz was able to come up with two different murder scenarios. The bedroom, the garage.
Hey, there's a good
Well, the
question.
truth
from
is-
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
No,
The
no, go
truth
ahead.
is, they have no idea what happened.
No.
No, they don't.
They're making up these scenarios. So
Correct.
evidently, it's not an unheard of thing to have two different scenarios with the same case. That, from what I
Correct.
understand, has happened before.
Oh, I'm sure it
I mean,
has.
It's
but-
just freaking ridiculous.
But in Stephen's trial, what did Kratz say? This was the work of one man and one man only.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And what 3 Rav said, Would someone like to read it out?
Sure, that's what I wanted to say. If they say Stephen can't handle her alone, how did she get on the bed
No one knows.
or asked?
Yep,
She
no
didn't.
one knows. All Fassbender said was, "Oh, we already know she's had an altercation with Teresa," because they're going, "Wait a minute, how did Teresa get in the trailer? How did Teresa get handcuffed? And how come Teresa's still alive in the bed and no gag on her mouth and just openly screaming?" They're going, "How did she go from outside to inside?" And all the forensic evidence says she never was in the trailer. And then Jack
Surprise.
61 will come in and says, "The blunt and bloody object," right? And then I'll come in and say, "The blood that sprayed on the back door of Teresa's RAV4, that indicates that she was bludgeoned." So wait a minute.
Yep.
Does Brendan Dassey ever say, "When I was raping Teresa Horbach, I noticed all this blood all over her head and on the mattress and also on the what do we call it?
Headboard.
Pillows,
Pillowcase,
Pillow.
headboard.
Nothing." So something
Nothing.
is not working out here. You've got the blood that sprayed on the back of the RAV door, which meant that Teresa was bludgeoned. You've got the mention of the blunt and bloody object that's in the back of the RAV by Harrington. That's gone. No one knows where it is.
Nope.
Right? So you've got this bizarre narrative whereby Stephen and Brendan is saying that both he and Stephen raped Teresa Horbach. Brendan Dassey never mentions blood on the head or on the headboard or on the pillows, the mattress. Nothing. You're going, something is not adding up here. And the only way it makes sense is if Teresa was never in the trailer or garage, she was attacked somewhere else. Then it makes 100% sense. But
Agree.
Fassbender and Wiggett can't have that, because then you can't rope in Brendan, you can't rope in Stephen. If Stephen
Right.
committed this, it wasn't on the Avery salvage yard. If he didn't commit it on the Avery salvage yard, it meant that Teresa left.
Then you got the other problems of A23,
Yes.
and then you have the other problem of that spare tire cover that
Yes.
Uyghur took for over a month and kept it, that we have no report on, and then turned it in.
Correct. So you've got. Sorry, Susan.
I agree with Mr. President. They expected Brendan to take a plea deal.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
so too.
You go against your uncle, no matter how bullshit your story is, we'll give you 20 years
15,
instead of 99.
whatever.
15,
Instead
yeah,
of,
whatever.
whatever. Instead of 99.
Yep.
But
And they blame his family
correct. His
Yeah.
father, grandfather,
of loving their son more than their grandson.
and that
And
was
even Brendan's mother loving her brother
Yes.
more than her son.
That is 100%
Give me a fucking break.
correct. Now, we in this short podcast or podcast series, we've totally destroyed Brendan's narrative. Are you trying to tell me that Kratz, Garn, Fallon, Judge Fox, Fassbender and Wiggett didn't come to their fucking senses and go, everything Brendan said was bullshit. Send that
Yeah,
kid
they
home.
didn't. They could not have believed any of this.
But they did.
And they didn't care.
did.
No. They didn't
care.
They
That's the
needed
optimum.
Brendan. They needed Brendan and this bullshit story and make believe. And like an hour ago, I was talking to Mr. President in chat, and Kratz goes by this, it's good enough. Because he had no idea that this was going to be so publicized and scrutinized.
Good point.
He
Because
Right.
he said we don't have to prove every point.
Yeah, plus, you know how he says, oh, Stephen was the last one who saw her alive. No, it
Yes.
was Bobby who saw her alive.
That is
Nobody
correct.
was there. All of a
Absolutely
sudden, everybody was there. You know, the fire, that was, the whopping fire. And he was doing this and that. It was all make-believe. Perceptions are what they are.
100% correct.
It's just a bullshit. It's a hollow narrative. They just had no clue that it was going to what's going to transpire. Because
Correct.
guess what? Without all of this scrutiny, how many cases, how many people have been convicted in such a manner on
A
a
lot.
half-assed story?
Yep, a lot, 100% correct. But in the back of their mind, right, guys, Fassbender and Winger saying, shit, Brendan Dassey is Stephen's alibi. Right? If Brendan goes, I didn't see a body in the fire. I never went over to my uncle's place. They can't have that. Because then Stephen will argue, well, what forensic evidence have you got? What and that's, you hear Stephen say that in the phone calls, right, Jack 61, over and over again, because they've got nothing. That's why they're
Yep.
picking on Brendan. They've got
Yep.
nothing.
That's right.
And that's exactly what they did. The narrative came from Fassbender and Wiegert, who molded Brendan into a story. Then when Brendan finally woke up and said, they got to my head, when they interrogated him again on May the 13th, I think it was, Brendan is recanting. Did you really do this, Brendan? No.
No.
But it was too late. It was too late. All right, guys, shall we continue? We're doing well.
Yeah, I'm
Feel
going to
on.
read.
This
I'm
is
going to. I'm going to
infuriating.
read for Cherie. She said she's having a really difficult
Okay.
time with the ret.
Okay. 64, I think we're on, Jack. 61.
Okay. Fassbender. Is this one on the bed?
I'm trying to find out where you're at.
Right on the
64.
top.
Up at the
Right on
top.
the top. That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Is this one
Yeah.
on the bed?
No, Jess. Mm-hmm.
Then what happens?
He told me to grab her feet, and we took her outside.
Oh, it was
Think
that
we
you,
lost
Neverly?
Neverly.
Thank you. I think we lost Neverly.
I think we did.
I'll read Fassbender till she comes back. Is she still alive?
No, she
No.
was
Oh,
unconscious.
sorry.
No, she was unconscious, or
Okay. You got her tied up. When you're getting her tied up, is she alive, or has he choked her already?
he choked her already. Hold on just a second. Neverly's back.
Okay.
And she had the handcuffs on?
Now you're
Yeah,
back, Neverly. You weren't in the show.
Read that one again.
Okay. Did he choke her when she had her handcuffs on?
Yeah.
Okay.
When did he stab her?
Before he choked her.
Are you sure
Are you
about
sure
that?
about that? Oh, I'm sorry. So
Brandon
she's
nods
laying
yes.
there, handcuffs on, and that's when Stephen stabs her.
Mm-hmm. No, Jess.
And then he chokes her after that.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Brendan nods yes.
Where exactly did he stab her again?
In the stomach.
See, even they're not believing it. That's why they keep on asking him, are you sure? Because when you think about it, it's ultra violence. It's excessive violence.
This is Clockwork Orange.
It is Clockwork Orange. It's Kiss the Girls level of violence. It's ultra violence. You think they're going to, Stephen would have done this in such a sequential manner, in the manner that, was stab, choke, but it gets worse.
Right.
It gets worse. Okay, let's continue, guys. So she stabbed in the stomach, and your stomach, you got your major organs there, rich blood supply, you're going to bleed. You are
Big
going
time.
to bleed.
Unless it's internal, according
Unless
to
it's
Fallon, yeah.
internal. Yep.
Yeah. Fassbender.
Hey, Doc.
Was it the-
Doc.
Yes.
Sorry. Nev, could you read for me for just a couple minutes?
Yeah, Fassbender? Or
Wiegert.
no, we get. Yeah, no worries.
Thank you. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries.
Fassbender. Was it the chest or the stomach?
Well, sort of in the ribs.
And what did he use to stab her?
A knife
Where did he get the knife from?
from the kitchen.
And how big was the knife? Show us.
About like that.
About that big, and he got it out of the kitchen. When he went in there, did he threaten her with a knife? Did he just go right and do it? What did he do?
That he threatened her.
Tell us what he said.
That he was going to kill her by stabbing her and not letting her go.
What else did he do to her? We know something else was done. Tell us. What else did you do? Come on. Something with the head. Brendan.
Huh? Uyghur touches
Brendan.
again.
Can't.
What? Yeah. What else did you guys do? Come on.
What he made you do, Brendan? We know he made you do something else.
What was it? What was it?
We have the evidence, Brendan. We just need you to be honest with us.
They cut off her hair.
My God.
Okay. So if you watch the video, the guy is completely clueless. He's got no idea. So he's thinking something to do with the head. Oh,
And blank.
we cut her hair. So that's
And blank. And he's blank.
he's got no idea, right? So the
Right.
first thing he goes, oh, we cut her hair. Okay. He cut off her hair in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Why did he do that? Was she alive?
No.
Oh, what did he do with the hair?
He set it down on the counter
The counter? Where?
like a dresser.
What did he use to cut the hair off with?
The knife.
The knife. Oh my God. Was she alive? Brendan shakes head no. Did he say why he did that?
No.
Okay. What else?
What else was done with her head?
That he punched her. Number 2.
What else? What else?
He made you do something to her, didn't he? So he would feel better about not being the only person, right? Brendan nods yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What did he make you do to her?
All right. So you could see that he's already guessed twice. Right? Cut off
Oh,
her
yeah.
hair,
Yeah, punched her.
punched her. Okay, he's got no. He goes, what else can you do to the head? All right.
Right.
What did he make you do, Brendan? It's okay. What did he make you do?
Cut her
Cut her? Where?
on the throat. Number 3.
Cut her throat? When did that happen?
Before he picked her up off bed.
So she was alive yet, right? Brendan nods yes. So she's alive and you cut her throat.
Mm-hmm.
Was that before or after Steve stabbed her?
After.
It was after Steve stabbed her?
Nod yes. Mm-hmm.
Was she, how do you know she was alive? Tell me, when you cut her throat, how did you know she was alive?
She was breathing a little bit.
She was breathing a little bit. Did Stephen tell you to do that?
Yeah.
How did he tell you to do? How did he tell you to do that? What did he say?
To go across her throat and pull it back.
All right. Let's be under no illusion. To pull her back and go across her throat. Does that sound to you like just a small nick to you?
Jesus
No.
Christ, of course not. That's like
No.
O.J. Simpson kind of
That's
stuff.
called fucking decapitation,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're beyond ultraviolence. It's like
We're-
porn.
all of a sudden, it went from drinking a soda, watching 15 minutes of TV, to horrific violence to a
Yep.
person that's dead, became undead, was dead, became undead. No one knows what the hell's going on. Susan,
And
you
no
want to continue?
DNA ever.
No DNA, no DNA, no blood.
anywhere.
No blood.
Yep.
Susie,
Did
we're gonna,
he? Did I miss who shot her in the head, or are we getting to that?
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
we're
we're,
getting
we're
there.
getting there. We're getting there.
Oh,
we're on page 68.
Did you say that at one point that in Kiss the Girls there was cutting of the hair?
Yes, there is. Only in the film. In the book,
Not in the book.
there is no scene of cutting of the hair. In the film, the lead detective picks up a clump of hair with an instrument. It's the only time you see hair being picked up, and the perpetrator cut the hair off the victim. As soon as I saw that, I said, "Oh my God, Brendan got it straight from the film."
Yeah.
Because that is highly specific. You see a clump of hair. The killer cut part of this lady's hair off who was tied to a tree, and he picks up the hair. It's not in the book. It's in the film.
That's crazy.
I also think he's thinking, what else could they have done to her head?
Exactly. But you know what? I'm not sure whether it was Kratz. He's arguing that Stephen did it for a trophy. That Stephen wanted a trophy of Teresa.
He put it on the dresser, right?
On the dresser, correct.
On the dresser. Yep. That's
On the
right.
dresser. Okay. Shall we continue?
Yep.
Susan, you take over,
Okay.
if you wish. Yep.
Fassbender. Did he say why he wanted you to do that?
No. Chick said no.
Which knife did you use?
The same one that he stabbed her with
And how many times did he stab her again?
once.
Are you sure about that? Brendan nods yes.
So Steve stabs her first, and then you cut her neck? Brendan nods yes. What else happens to her in the head?
It's extremely, extremely important you tell us this for us to believe you.
Come on, Brendan. What else?
We know. We just need you to tell us.
That's all I can remember.
All right. I'm just going to come out and ask you, who shot her in the head?
Fucker.
Well, he did.
Then why didn't you tell us that?
Because I couldn't remember it.
Now you
But I
remember
couldn't-
it?
Because I couldn't think of it. Sorry.
It's okay. Now you remember it? Brenda nods yes. Tell us about that then.
Then he shot her with his 22.
You were there, though.
Right. I mean, we've gone through this 1,000,001 times, but it's quite clear that you can see Brendan never mentions a shooting scenario at all, ever. And that's one of the only factors that only the law enforcement officers knew, and of course the killer who perpetrated this knew about a shooting scenario. Despite Fassbender and Uyghur prompting Brendan never mentioned shooting. If Brendan had said during that interrogation, we shot her several times, without any prompting, would you guys still be here?
Well, if there was DNA to prove it.
To back it up.
Something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something
something
to
to,
back up.
something
Yeah.
to corroborate.
Yeah, and there's none, and we can debunk item FL in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Brendan never talks about a shooting scenario. Now, if he could remember raping a 25-year-old woman in detail, which he got everything completely wrong, are you trying to tell me that he forgot that they'd shot Teresa Horbach in the skull and in the body a total of 10 or 11 times? He forgot about it. And you know what Fassbender said? Oh, the reason why I forgot about it is because he thought he was still in the bedroom.
Right.
To
I
That's what he
can't.
said.
My
Oh
brain
my
just can't.
God.
It can't
That's what he
go. It's
said.
just like driving your car down, a road that your car's not going to go down. It won't. You can't force yourself to go there.
wouldn't
These
Brendan
guys
say
had to
right
do.
away? Right away, we fucking
I
shot
got to
her.
my head.
Yes.
These guys, Uyghur and Fassbender, had to go into their imaginations as much as Brendan did to answer for this ridiculous story.
That's correct. That's
Mental
100% correct.
gymnastics, yes.
That's 100% because they knew that Brendan, all you need to do is to watch that part of the video. The kid is clueless.
Completely.
He's got no idea. He's thinking the head, punch,
What?
choke, cut her throat, cut her hair. He's got no
Yeah.
idea. And,
I couldn't
then-
think of
I
shooting her.
couldn't think of it.
It's like,
Right
what do you want
then
me
and
to
there.
tell you? I couldn't guess what you wanted me to tell you.
Yes,
Right.
right then and there, they should have
Exactly.
called Barb and say, "Take your son home."
Yeah. We're
They should have
done.
called Barb and say, "Take him home." The kid knows nothing, but they couldn't. They had to keep at him. They had to keep at him,
Dreadful.
and
It's shameful.
it's
It's so shameful.
it is disgusting, and that's why the world's got to know it, right? And that's why they want a deep six and they want to shit on Mam because Mam exposed it.
Yeah.
They exposed
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
And to answer 3Rav's question, I'm not sure about a tattoo in the movie Kiss the Girls, but I could check. I've got the book. I'll check it. Yeah, that was the control question.
Yeah.
It's sort of like,
Bullshit.
as you'll see later on.
She
When I
did actually have a tattoo on her stomach, didn't she? I mean, no, she didn't. Oh,
She didn't have a tattoo.
right.
Brendan goes, I don't remember a tattoo, which means he was technically correct. If you never saw Teresa, he couldn't have seen the tattoo. The best one was, did she have pubic hair? You'll see it. I'll talk about later. Yeah. And they asked him again, did she have pubic hair? No. Don't guess, Brendan. Oh, yeah. I'm just guessing. Yeah. That's how stupid it got.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I think we got a few more slides. Let's continue.
Yeah.
Where did this happen?
Oh, no.
Outside.
Oh, no.
Outside? Before? Tell me when it happened.
When we brung her outside to throw them in the fire.
Okay, so let's back up, okay? So I want to go through this, okay? So he stabs her, Brendan nods yes, and chokes her,
Mm-hmm.
and then you do what?
I helped tie her up.
Okay, and then what?
Then we,
You cut her throat somewhere in there?
yeah,
Yes?
yeah,
And then what?
cut off some of her hair.
Okay,
Then we brung her outside and we shot her.
was she alive when you shot her?
I don't know.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Not only is the RAV4 outside, but they shoot a weapon outside.
Yep.
Yeah.
Outside.
In the broad
Next to the
daylight.
garage.
In the broad daylight. Oh, no. Right? And they're putting two and two together thinking, fuck, this can't be right. And remember, last year we did the canine podcast. They took a HRD dog all outside. And were there any alerts?
Nope.
None.
No.
They took the dog around Stephen's trailer and where Barb's van was. No alerts. No alerts. That means there was no
Alerted on Stephen's blood in the bathroom.
in the bathroom. That's
the
correct.
bathroom.
Yeah.
In the bathroom. Yep, 100% correct.
And
Okay.
3 Rev 4 says, and Chuck didn't hear it, the shooting outside.
Don't worry, I've got that too. Don't worry, I've got that too.
For
Excellent.
anyone. And it's
Excellent.
got to be about the time Barb's coming home here.
Yes.
I mean,
And Bobby. And Bobby.
and Bobby. And
Yep.
Bobby. Yes.
Yep.
Brian.
And where was Blaine this whole time?
Home.
Yeah,
He goes trick and treating a bit later.
yeah.
So we've got gunshots, 10 gunshots going off, right? And no one hears the thing. No one hears the thing, right? HR dogs come in, they don't pick up anything, right? And it never occurred to them, shit, what Brendan's saying is bullshit. It can't be backed up. But they still persist. They must
Yep.
persist.
Before we
Where
continue,
did you shoot
James-
her? Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. James
ahead,
Crane
Neb.
asked, where is the knife with her DNA on it?
None. Culhane, they took all the knives, and they tested them. They found no blood, no DNA. And you know that with the knife handle, the blood drips into the wood, into the
Yeah,
handle,
sure.
and it's there. It's found there. Nothing. Culhane did not find. And imagine this. You cut someone's throat, and what do? You put the knife back in the kitchen and eat your steak with it the next day. What the fuck?
Well, first you cut her hair off with it.
Correct.
Okay.
With a knife, yeah.
With the same knife. And what did Brendan say? We put the knife in the back of the RAV under the seat. And they all scrambled to the RAV. And did they find the knife? No.
No.
And they DNA tested all the knives. No blood. No blood. Handle, no.
3 Rev Force is asking, where's Brian? I think Brian came home with Barb from work, right?
Yes.
Don't they ride
and he had
together?
And she left.
He had a shower and then he left. Correct. So people
Right.
were coming and going. People were coming and going. No one hears any shots. No one sees the RAV, and no one sees. And also, what are we forgetting? What
Earl
does
and
the-
Robert. Earl and oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Earl and Travis and
Fabian.
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 What does Earl have? Sorry, what does Stephen have tied up in the chain? A bear.
Dog.
Bear, the dog.
Does anyone hear
Bear.
the dog barking incessantly after hearing 10 gunshots going off right next to him?
Nope.
No. But you notice that Fassbender and Wiggett don't mention Bear until much later. Okay, let's keep going, guys.
Where did he shoot her?
In the head.
Who shot her?
No, he did.
How many times?
Twice.
Take note, twice.
In her body too, or where else? Pause. How many times do you shoot her, Brendan?
Twice.
Total? Not just in the head. Do you shoot her elsewhere? Honestly?
In the stomach.
How many times did you shoot her when he handed you the gun?
0.
Where did
Because I couldn't shoot no more.
what do you mean you couldn't shoot no more?
Because we used to have a cat that was like something was wrong with them, and we had to shoot them because we didn't want to pay for the bills.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom told me not to watch when her now ex-boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, let's listen to this logic. A 16-year-old kid is able to rape a 25-year-old woman in front of his uncle. He's then able to cut her throat, be a witness to her being shot in the head, but he
Twice.
can't stand twice, but he can't stand looking at a cat being shot. A cat being shot, because I could not shoot no more. It was too traumatic. And yet he did all this ultra violence and torture to another human being that he didn't even know and
Yep.
didn't even think twice.
And then he watched TV and had a soda.
Yep, correct. And Fassbender and Wiegert are just all lapping this up, going, oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
okay. Going, keep going, keep going.
That's right.
And yet, when Brendan does tell the truth with all these little snippets, it makes no sense at all. None. None at all.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay. Shot him, and I couldn't watch.
Mm-hmm.
Brendan, we're in the bedroom yet, okay? Brendan nods yes. She's handcuffed yet, right? Brendan nods yes. And you're telling me if, obviously, correct me if I'm wrong, what we heard. Brendan nods yes. While she's handcuffed and alive, he stabs her,
No, yes. Mm-hmm.
chokes her, right? Brendan nods yes. Is that right?
Not yes. Mm-hmm.
And then he has you cut her neck.
Yeah.
And then you cut some hair off. Brendan nods yes. Is it after that that she does she look like she's dead then? Or is she not dead?
It looks like she's dead.
So she's dead in the trailer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now
Correct?
we move scenarios again.
Keeps forgetting. Yeah.
You don't do you see any breathing left?
Shaq said no. No.
Is it then that you take the handcuffs off or tie her up and tie her up?
Yeah.
You can remember. So you think after she looks like she's then you guys tie her up? Brandon nods yes. Then what do? How do you get her outside? Is it when you carry her? Brandon nods yes. When you say you carried her,
Yeah.
what part of her body did you carry?
The feet.
And Stephen did what?
He carried the head.
And what door did you go out of?
That one where the cement stairs are.
And that's located in proximity to what inside? Is it near his bedroom? Far away?
Near.
Is the bathroom near there?
Yeah, straight across.
Straight across from that door? Brandon nods yes.
Where did you take her then?
Take her outside on the side of the garage and shoot her.
Take her outside of the garage and shoot her?
On the side of it, yeah.
Okay. And then what do you do with her?
Is it dark out?
Like
Go
a
ahead.
little bit.
Oh, sorry.
Like a little bit.
What'd you do then?
Then he puts the gun on the ground and we carry her into the fire.
How many times did you shoot her? Tell me again. How many times did you shoot her?
3.
3.
Three?
Oh,
The number's
We
gone
just-
up.
We just got all kinds of problems with this page.
Yeah. The biggest problem, well, there's lots of problems, right? It's still semi-daylight, right? Which means that people are coming to the property, and it's probably around about 4:30, 5 o'clock, where people
At the
start,
latest.
right? Because
right
it's
when
not,
Bobby got home. Right when Brian
Yep.
got home.
and the RAV4's still outside, right? And now we have gunshots going off, right? But there's one big problem, and Jack 61 pointed out. He shot her on the side of the garage. So let's have a look at this picture here, right? So this is the door that they carry Teresa out, allegedly carried Teresa out. That door there with the steps. And they made a real big deal in Cam. Oh, that's where Loof went. That's where Loof went.
Yeah.
But wait a minute. Loof is a live scent dog.
Yeah.
Right.
You need the cadaver dog to make a hit, right? And they put a cadaver dog all around that trailer and there were no alerts. Are you trying to tell me that despite being stabbed and having your throat cut, choked, that not one drop of blood spilled from there to the garage of Teresa, and a dog, a canine dog, a HRD dog, human remains detection dog, did not alert. So they open. Remember when Colburn, Remica, Lenk were in there and they saw blood on the door frames. Oh my God. Remember they took all the swabs?
Yep.
Right? Who did
Right.
all the blood come back to?
Avery.
Stephen, because he cut his finger.
Right.
These guys are thinking, oh my God, there's blood there, there's blood there. Oh, this is a murder scenario. But once they did all the DNA testing, no blood belonged to Teresa Hallbach. No dog alerted outside, nowhere. And yet they made a big deal that, oh, Loof went there. Loof tried to go back there. Loof is a live scent dog, right? You've got no idea what Loof is picking up because they found no scent source there at all. But it gets worse. So they take Teresa out of that door there. And remember, Jack 61, correct me if I'm wrong, but they ripped the carpet from that hallway. They ripped the carpet and tested it and found how much? What did they find?
Nothing.
Nothing. So here we have someone who's had their throat cut, stabbed. They're carrying it out of the bedroom and not one drop of blood found anywhere. Even underneath, behind the carpet, because the blood soaks through, they found nothing.
Nothing in the padding at all.
Nothing whatsoever. But it gets worse. If we look at the next slide, here's the door, right? Now, remember Brendan said the door was open? So anyone can look inside, but it's worse. The RAV4's not in there yet. The RAV4's still by the trees. Right? So you got people coming to the property. So here's the problem. Where did they shoot Teresa? Did they shoot her there on that door? And if we look at the next slide, Jack 61, I've shown a picture of all the sides of the garage. Where did they shoot her? But because they said we put Teresa on the side of the garage and we shot her. But there's one big problem. No one found any form of blood anywhere.
No dog hits.
Right? No dog hits, but sorry.
You need to show a picture of this garage on March 2nd.
Yes.
Where it's got all that snow.
Correct. And that's why
possibly have been able to search that.
No, that's correct. But they brought the dogs in November 5th and onwards, no alerts. No alert, no bullet fragments, nothing. But they forgot one important thing. If we have a look at the next picture, this will show you the total bullshit. What do you see there?
Bear not giving a shit.
A German Shepherd.
Not giving a damn.
No, who's chained outside, right? And Brendan just says, oh, we took her outside near one of the sides of the garage, and we shot Teresa Hallbach. And remember, they're twice in the head, 3 times now, but it gets worse. If you look at the next picture, sorry.
Yeah, I wanted to say, just to remember what Brendan said, they shot her after she was dead.
Correct. After she's dead, right? Because they cut her throat in the trailer. Yeah. But the trouble is, if you look at Bear and his chain, he can go right around the garage. He can't go to the front, but he can go right around the garage. He can go through 3 sides. So does that mean they shot Teresa at the front with the garage door open? Where Bobby...
He said on the side, didn't he?
On the side. And guess what? Yeah. The dog can reach all the sides because they did a 3D map of his chain. Yeah. No one...
Doesn't work for me, dog.
No one reports a barking dog. Now, come on. How often has Bear seen a person being shot and multiple times with a gun? Never. Never. And yet no one next door, coming and going, reports a dog barking. Nope. Right? So the whole thing...
Or gunshots.
Or gunshots. The whole thing makes no sense. But Fassbender and Wiggett never asked him about Bear.
No.
Or what's your
No.
dog doing? Just like that fucking idiot from jail. Remember that guy? I forgot, Evans.
Oh,
Who wrote
God.
Was it Evans?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Who wrote that big letter? Oh, I killed Teresa Hobaba. He forgot one thing that discredited him straight away. And guess what it was? He forgot about Bear. He forgot about the dog. Right?
Didn't Fassbender and Uyghur, right after Brendan said this, didn't they move her into the garage?
Yes.
The scene,
Yes.
like
Yes.
shortly after. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Correct. You know
They
why?
had to.
Because they knew
They had
there
to.
was no evidence. Yeah.
That's
That's
right.
correct. There was no
They had
evidence
to.
outside. And it makes me worry about IDMFL now. Why they had to move the shooting scenario in the garage. You know why? Because that's where they found the shell casings.
Yeah.
So because Stephen said it many times. I used to cut the grass, and my lawnmower used to catch the shells and fire them off the copper
Yeah, it's like
shells.
plink plink. Yeah.
Yeah. So he had to pick them up and he put them in his garage. And when it's funny because when Kathleen Zona went there, she had a whole container of them.
The 5-gallon
I
bucket,
think-
wasn't it?
Right?
I think
Because
Jody also said that she would
Yes.
stand at the edge of
Yes.
the garage and shoot the garbage
shoot-
can. The
that's
burn
correct.
barrel.
That is
Yeah.
correct.
And Johnson,
Yes.
Roy Johnson
Ron
said
Johnson.
he must have shot like 3,000.
Yes, correct. And he
Of them.
goes, when you fire the weapon, you don't know where the cartridge goes, the spent casing goes, including going into the garage. Right? So these guys are going, we found some shells. We found 11 shells. That means you shot Teresa Hobart how many times? 11 times. Notice what Brendan's saying. Twice, 3, and then he changes his mind again. We know, Brendan, we know how many shell casings we got. So the kid's guessing, right? So let's continue. So according to Brendan, they shot Teresa on the side of the garage, outside. Okay.
And where did he shoot her?
In the head, the stomach, and the heart.
And the heart.
Yeah, the heart. Do you know what side of the head?
Sheck said no. No.
So you take her out of that house by the cement steps. You carry her to the side of the garage.
Mm-hmm. Now, Jess.
Was she ever in the garage?
No. Sheck
No.
said no.
No.
Okay, so you carry her to the side of the garage. Brendan nods yes. And you guys shoot her, and Steve shoots her, or you shoot her.
He does.
Who's he?
Stephen.
And who does Steven shoot?
Her.
What's her name?
Teresa.
Okay. And he shoots her 3 times. Brendan nods yes. And then what do you do?
We carry her to the fire.
Okay. What time is it about?
About 6:30.
Oh, no. Houston, we got another problem.
Yes, we do.
6:30.
Yeah.
I go trick and treating. Barb, Scott,
Scott's
also,
been there to
Blaine.
pick up Barb.
yep.
Blaine
But here's the other problem.
leaves.
Here's the
Phone
other problem.
calls.
There are 2 phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
One at 5:36, right? That goes for 15 minutes. So wait a minute. In the middle of talking to Jody from 5:36 plus 15 minutes, he's in the middle of a fucking shooting rampage or about to shoot Teresa Hobart. So he's talking
After
calmly.
raping, cutting,
He's talking
stabbing.
calmly to Jody, who picks up nothing, after he's raped, witnessed his nephew rape Teresa Hobart, stab, cut throat, cut hair, and going to carry it outside. He's talking to Jody for 15 minutes.
In a loving way, romantic way. They were
Yep.
talking about rose petals and candlelight and all that romantical stuff.
Kitty cocktail.
Yeah.
Yep. And Jody goes, I didn't pick up anything. So that's why Kratz, in his book, had to label Stephen a multitasking killer. Because he's going, holy shit. Brendan's saying he did this, this, and this. Jody calls him, and they can't change that time. That's a jail call. 5:36, 15 minutes the call went. Stephen's all lovey-dovey. And they're going, wait a minute, but all this mayhem and torture and mutilation has taken place. They're just about to put her on the fire. Oh, fuck. Then Stephen's doing two things at once. And he's keeping his nephew quiet at the same time because he's Brendan can't say anything because, oh, my God, it's going to give the game away. Hey, Stephen, shall we put her in the fire now or after you finish speaking with Jody? Oh, just hold on, mate.
And when did he start this fire?
Exactly. And that's why Fassbender and we got really upset with Brendan when he goes, no, the fire wasn't going yet. Remember? They said to him, now come on, we're not going to talk anymore until, of course, the fire was going.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Tell the truth. So you've got these two calls, one at 5:36, one at 8:57. That somehow Stephen is in the middle of all this mayhem and Jody doesn't pick it up at all.
And let's not forget the emotional part of all of this, where he roped in his 15-year-old nephew, whom he actually really liked.
Yes, 100% correct. He did this all in front of a witness. Who Stephen, if he got away with this, expected his nephew to keep his mouth shut for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Brendan.
So we're going to...
Brendan.
We're going to get rid of her by putting her in the fire and, reducing her to smithereens. But then, there's the second guy, the accomplice. And as you said, he's going to count on Brendan.
So Stephen's giving this spiel. Oh, don't worry about it. Brendan's not going to say anything. And what does Brendan do? He goes to school the next day. After committing rape, torture, cremation, and he goes to school as if nothing has happened.
Yep.
I wish they asked him if he took a shower before he went to bed or in the morning.
Yeah. But to add to the madness, if we can have a look at the next slide, who would like to read this out? They interviewed Chucky, right? This is November the 6th, right? Chucky's got, remember, Stephen's not arrested, and Chucky says this. Read it out, if you like, please.
During the week, Monday through Friday, I did not hear any gunshots. If there were any shots fired on my property, I would have heard them. Family and friends used my pit to sight in their guns. I have no idea how the girl's car got into my salvage yard.
Boom. Now, you know what's incredible? No one asked Chucky about the guns.
Yep.
He volunteered that. He volunteered that statement on November the 6th.
It's interesting.
He had no idea, unless, of course, he was involved. But Brendan talked about guns on March the 1st, 2006. This is one day after the RAV4 got found.
They had no clue what happened to her.
No.
So why would he even say that?
Chuck goes, I heard no gunfire. And I think they even asked the propane tank driver, LeQuern, the same thing. He says, I didn't hear any gunfire.
And he says, and if there were any shots, I would have heard them.
Exactly. These guys fire guns all the time. All the time. And Bobby Dassey is a hunter.
Yes.
He knows what a gun sounds like.
And if Chuck was volunteering this information like this, wouldn't he say, I smelled something if he
Yeah.
did, if something
Yeah,
was
like
going on.
gun smoke residue,
No,
nothing.
like a burning freaking body.
Yes. No one mentions smell except Travis Crowell, right? Jack 61, do we have any more slides? We got a couple more.
There we go.
Beautiful. How many more slides have we got?
I think, let's see, I can tell you here, that's 74.
We are on 54 out of 57. So
Yeah,
three
Okay,
more.
so we got a few more
Yeah,
slides.
I think we just got a very few more.
Good.
And we'll be done.
Good.
All right.
Excellent. Let's keep going, guys.
Okay.
Did he say, what did he say while he was shooting her? Or just before he shot her?
That we had to hurry up before he had some people coming over.
Expecting company. Oh my God.
You gotta hurry up. You gotta hurry up.
Hurry
And
up.
then
Yeah,
I know.
people coming over.
I know.
What the fuck, man?
Was the car still out front?
Yes.
Yeah, the ref was still outside, but not seen by Bobby
Oh,
or anybody
shit.
else.
Okay. We're gonna take you where Mark just took you, and we know there's some things that you're not telling us. We need to get the accuracy about the garage and stuff like that and the car.
I bet you do.
Yeah. They
How
know.
does the car get in the garage? He never said it was in the garage.
No.
Right?
No,
No, that's
Yeah.
correct. He drives it in there.
he drives it in there.
After he puts her on the fire or before?
After.
After.
Oh my God.
Okay, so let's go back to outside. You carry her over. She's naked, right? Brendan nods yes. And you put her on the fire?
Mm-hmm.
And what do you do when she's on the fire?
We threw some tires on top of her and some branches.
You threw tires and branches on her? Brendan nods yes. And then what?
We just let it burn.
Just let it burn.
What else?
Well, who started the fire?
Well, he did.
Who's he? Stephen.
Steven.
Oh, sorry. What did he start it with?
Some
Some
gas.
gas. Some gas. Jesus Christ.
When did he start it?
Before I got there.
Okay.
Ding.
Ching.
What do you mean before you got there? You carry her out. Is the fire burning already when you carried her out?
Yeah. No, Jess.
And no one's tending the fire.
Nope.
So you throw her on top of the fire?
Not Jess. Mm-hmm.
This fire is going when you go knock on the door.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
What do you mean knock on the door? I'm sorry. Let's pause here.
Oh, no.
On
So
whose door?
sorry, guys. The fire is going before they do all the raping and mutilation and everything like that. The fire would have gone out. They
Yeah,
haven't
or
stuck
been wa-
anything in the
Or
fire
been way
yet.
down. Yeah, I've been way down. Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
No,
That's
you're
okay.
fine.
This fire is going on when you go knock on the door.
Yeah.
That's what you mean by before you get there.
No, Jess. Mm-hmm.
Does he say why the fire's burning?
Chuck said no. No.
So when you carried her out of the house and you put her by the garage and Steve shoots her, then you put her on top of the fire that's already going?
Mm-hmm. No, Jess.
Okay. And then what do you do from there? Go ahead.
That he wanted me to
He wanted you to what?
go in the garage and help him move the Jeep down into the pit.
Okay, so she's there burning. What do you put on top of her? Or Do you put something on top of her in the fire?
Just the branches and tires.
He
Branches and tires?
forgot about the seat.
Yep.
Oh,
Forgot the seat.
branches and tires. Let's go back a few minutes. Where'd you get the gun from? Or where did Stephen get the gun from?
From out of his room,
Of his what room?
the bedroom.
Where does he get the shells from? Do you know?
Shake said no.
Okay, and which gun was it?
The 22.
Okay.
Okay, Brendan, we got I think you're doing a really good job up to this point of coming forward and stuff. But you bring her out of the house. You just said that after you put her on the fire, then you wanted to get the car, get the car out of the garage and stuff. Brendan nods yes. Again, we have we know that some things happen in the garage and in the car. We know that. You need to tell us about this so we know you are telling us the truth. I'm not going to tell you what to say. You need to tell us.
You just told him what to say, Fassbender.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Correct.
Jesus.
Yep. It's a leading questions, which they're permitted to
Ah.
ask.
That he was going to put.
Do not sign it. Do not serve it. What the fuck is
Uyghur's on
that?
the thing.
He's on the phone.
He's on the phone talking about that warrant.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
He was going to put her in the back of the Jeep.
Okay. So is this the last slide?
I think it is.
Yep. So it's common knowledge that Stephen Avery was arrested for felon in possession of a weapon. So there's no question Brendan would have known that it was a .22 because that's the gun that they confiscated, and they also, I think, took the other one as well. So that was common knowledge. So Brendan guessing that Stephen had weapons, they all knew that. That weapon there, the Glenfield Model 60 semi-automatic, did not belong to Stephen. It belonged to Roland Johnson.
Yep.
It wasn't his gun. And Jack 61, you alluded me to a point where Deborah Strauss found the report where they gave the licenses, the hunting licenses, to Stephen.
Yes.
Legally.
Yes. He had applied for, I can't remember, it's in the report, wherever he had applied for a permit for deer hunting gun season, and they sent it to him.
I sent it to him, right?
Yeah.
So
That's right.
no one, from what I've heard, no one saw Stephen shoot that weapon. That weapon belonged to Roland Johnson, and as Neverly pointed out, Roland Johnson admitted firing about 3,000 rounds, including around the garage or close to the garage. When that weapon fires around, the shell ejects, and you can't actually predict where it's going to go.
Right.
Stephen had a lawnmower, and even said, I remember reading in one report or hearing it on one of the phone calls, he used to rake up and pick up the shells, spent cut. That really pissed him off because the blade of the lawnmower used to catch him and fire him off, right? Yep. That's dangerous. Right. It's got a dog, and et cetera, et cetera. So he used to pick him up. The investigators are trying to come up with a narrative. Oh, we found shell casings. That means that Teresa Horbach had to have been shot 11 times. So that's their way of thinking. But now, right, Jack 61, right, guys? We can't have Teresa being shot outside because the shell casings were found inside.
That's right.
What do you mean that RAV4 was outside? We can't have the RAV4 outside because we know something happened in the RAV4. What they forgot to tell Brendan was that Teresa's blood was on the back door.
Yep.
On the back door. Did Brendan ever disclose how that blood got on that back door?
No.
No, because he has no idea. So a major aspect of the crime they never discussed, and Brendan never divulged.
And they
So-
never found Stephen's DNA on that Glenfield Model 60 either, did they?
Nope. So that's why I've got the Red Cross.
Yep.
They checked the weapon for blood, fingerprints. In fact, I didn't even think they checked it for fingerprints. They found nothing. In fact, my understanding is they never even checked it for gun smoke residue to determine if the gun had even been fired.
Right.
I didn't even check it. They normally get a cotton wad, put it all the way down the barrel and take it out to see the gun smoke residue. They didn't even test it for that. But they found no DNA or blood on the
No
on the,
blowback.
no
Yeah.
blowback, nothing, right? So you can see that throughout Brendan's interrogation so far, I think we're finished for today.
Yeah.
Throughout Brendan's interrogation so far, it's all come up negative from a forensic standpoint. Nothing supports what the kid says. In fact, what he was saying could not be correct. It was patently false because it made no sense. And as Fassbender and we get a thinking about it, they're going, you did this to Teresa? You shot her where? The RAV4 was still outside. So when they're adding all this up, they're going, oh shit, we got to move the crime scene. We got to shift it into the garage. Right? So
And that's
again,
why they didn't want that. They didn't want that warrant signed yet. They didn't have her in the
Correct.
garage yet.
they didn't have her in the garage. And that's why it now makes perfect sense. When Kratz goes on national television and goes, now we know what we're looking for. And you're thinking to yourself,
Yeah.
you trying to tell me that you guys up till March the 1st had
Fucking
no
idiot.
fucking idea what happened to Teresa Horbach? And the answer is yes. They had no idea. They had
The
no idea.
battery's unhooked, but you didn't think to swab the hood latch.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
You
Not at all.
searched that garage.
Yep.
Thoroughly.
And with luminol treatment, the whole lot. And now they have to explain all the negative results. All the negative results. And what did Fassbender come up with? We could come up with? They had 5 days to clean up. That's
That
it.
was the most ridiculous answer, and it was so fake
Oh my
and
God.
made up. It was so cringe.
It
It's
was.
disgusting.
That's the only
Yeah,
answer they
I
could give.
agree.
Actually,
Because-
And then we get Fassbender's shot laying prone on the floor, and the bullet goes
Correct.
back under the compressor.
The
and
most
scam.
the
I
most
mean-
ridiculous. Look,
Oh my
the-
God.
the
I
lone bullet,
cannot
the
believe
bullet
they
theory
put
in
that
Kennedy.
in there.
This
Oh
was
my God.
outrageous. Outrageous.
Just
All
as
right.
bad as the loop or whatever dog they used to
Correct.
set
Oh
up
yeah. Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
if I could
What?
just make a comment,
Hmm?
it's regarding Wiegert and Fassbender doing the interrogation or interview with Brendan. I know they were using the Reed technique. I didn't know at first, but then, after researching and spending so much time in, foul play and talking, I learned about Reed technique. But then it was so, to me, it seemed so, again, forced, not fluid. Like they seemed like amateurs, and these are seasoned
Yes.
detectives and investigators.
Yes.
But it was so forced that so that's why I had all these red flags, like, wait a second. Usually, and I've watched ever since, a million interrogations on different cases, and they're all using the Reed technique. And it's so much better and so much more professional. These guys, I felt like they need to go back to school and practice. They were awful.
They had
Awful.
no idea how to handle Brendan. For a start, they should have had a lady detective in there as well. Okay.
I mean,
And-
Fassbender was DCI, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Yep. Correct. They had no idea.
Just
They had
horrible.
no idea of Brendan's limitations at all. And it's funny, because they actually use this interrogation on how not to conduct an interrogation in law schools.
Yeah.
In law schools, they use it as an example. And
Yeah.
And
There
was
was
it
a TED
three
talk
or-
too.
3 or 4 judges that claimed Brendan was totally coerced.
Oh,
3,
look at this comment from Mr.
Including-
President.
including Ludwig, not Ludwig, Duffin. That's 4.
Look what Mr. President said regarding the quality of the technique by Wiegert and Fassbender. He said, because these guys already had a story, they were giving it to Brendan, not getting it.
Correct. They were feeding
Well
him the
said.
narrative.
Well
Correct.
said.
Yeah.
They're feeding him the narrative. And now it's very embarrassing because just ask Jack 61 about Kratz on X.
Oh,
He has to defend the indefensible on X regarding Brendan.
Is he
It's
still
totally-
around?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
believe so.
he is, but he won't answer any of my questions. And you know,
Yeah.
I going with all that. I've been very civil towards him. I've not jumped down his throat. I've just, I'm not going to argue with him. I may disagree because he has answered a couple, but like the Pam Sturm call that we talked about. I think we talked about it last week or week before. This call to dispatch, and you guys have been along with that on that ride with us. And how many
Oh, yeah.
calls were the actions of Marie or any of the other dispatchers like the one with Pam? And I can tell you right now, it never happened again.
Right.
Correct.
She asked for Sheriff Pagel. Hold on. She gets put on hold. Marie leaves the dispatch office and goes and gets him.
Yep.
That
Correct.
never happened. That never happened any other time, ever.
Correct. Which makes Sawinski's observations even more interesting.
Well, it does. It does. And,
Doesn't it? One day prior.
well,
one
I
day-
mean, Kratz said, well, he was standing there in the dispatch office. No, he wasn't. They went
was
and got
outside.
him.
I went and get him. Yep, correct. They were about to leave.
That's right.
And the
Anyway.
way they spoke indicated familiarity.
Well,
There was a casualness. Hi, this is Pagel here, Sheriff Pagel. And you're thinking, oh yeah, you're not meant to know her, and she's not
But
meant to
it's-
know you.
but it's even worse, really, unless part of that call had been clipped that they somehow manipulated it, which I can't say didn't happen, but it doesn't sound like it. But anyway, it's even worse because when people call in from the public and they want to speak to whoever, Captain Rush or Pagel, what do you want? What are you what do you want to talk to them about? They always field these calls. They're a screener. That's part of their job. Pam wasn't asked at all.
Correct.
Yes,
Correct.
exactly. Because then just because somebody asks for a sheriff, they're not gonna just say, okay, here you go.
Right.
They're gonna triage it. Yeah.
Let's tease this out a little bit, right? Pam Sturm was on a salvage yard with cars.
Yep.
How did she know that RAV4 was Teresa's? The dispatch could have said, are you sure that's not just another junk car? Right? No. Let's call the sheriff.
Boom.
Straight away.
Well, Pagel was at Teresa's that morning, correct?
That's right.
Yes,
When Pam Sturm was there.
that's correct.
Wow.
Yep,
wow.
because he ran the facts. So Pagel, Wiegert, they were there.
Well, it was Pagel and another officer. Uyghur wasn't with him on that one, but it was Pagel and another officer for sure
Yep,
doing that test. Yeah.
correct.
Anyway.
And
I
give
guess
them
we
a cell
got-
phone and the direct number to the sheriff. Come on.
And a map. That was staged.
And the
Sorry.
camera.
Yeah.
That was staged.
Yeah. And
That was
Nicole
staged.
hiding the camera underneath the sweatshirt.
Yep.
And they're doing the proper thing, asking
Yep.
Earl. I'm sorry, if I was just like a concerned citizen, I wouldn't know. I would just go on the freaking yard. I wouldn't, have the knowledge of proper etiquette and, to go to the owner and ask for permission. I'd be concerned finding the girl.
Yeah, which David
Yeah.
Beach came prior, and Stephen, they had no problems. Yeah, no problems at all.
I think more than likely the 5 kittens saw the RAV
Yep.
Yes.
and
And phoned
called
it in.
Pagel.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then
Phoned
Pagel
it in.
needed somebody to get
Yeah.
permission
Yep.
from Earl to go on that property and
Yep.
Right.
told her right where it
You're right.
was.
Yeah,
And
because
that,
if they don't have if they don't have permission to be on the property to search,
illegal
it's
search.
out.
Illegal
It's out.
search.
Yeah.
And that's why the officers went to the girls. Get off. Get out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Get out.
But
Yeah,
they
right now.
gained the knowledge.
Correct. There's no doubt that they had a tip.
Yeah, I'm sure of it too. Anyway, Doc, we got a few questions. Look like 4 that I've highlighted. I apologize to those out there that if I've missed your question, I apologize. I can't go. I've only got one screen, so anyway.
We
gotta
answered a
work on
bunch
that.
on the way.
Yeah, we did. That's why I was trying to do that earlier on. I was just trying to pop them up when I saw them. So let's get to the first one. Let's go. Neverly, you want to do these?
Sure. This question is from 3 RAV4s. Why can't we read Dolores' statement today?
I've never seen it. I've never read it. I know that she did one statement where she goes, "I know nothing," and the big lot. And that's it. But isn't there another one that's sealed?
I don't think so. Oh,
This is Dolores.
there's
There's very little stuff from Dolores. Very little.
not supposed to be anything sealed now. I mean, Judge Willis did unseal everything,
Yep.
unless it's in a DCI report that we don't have, we
Yep.
can't
I
get.
haven't seen it. I haven't seen
Maybe
it.
you need a FOIA for that.
I'm gonna have to. Yeah, we're gonna have to. Somebody's gonna have to give me some tips on that one.
Yep. Because
Okay.
imagine if there's a report that says I brought the mail down to Stephen at 3:30 on October the 31st. That
Oh,
destroys. Gone.
Gone.
And if there's a phone call between Jody and Stephen where Stephen goes, "Oh, look, love, I rearranged the room."
Right.
Like weeks before
Right.
October the 31st, gone. Brendan's gone again.
That's right.
She may have refused to talk to him.
Hmm?
I don't know.
Yep. True.
Completely.
Yeah.
I could see her doing that.
Yes. Because remember, they didn't go and talk to her or her husband about Brendan. They conveniently didn't question them. Question everybody else, but not the grandparents.
And remember,
Yep.
the car ride to Aurora, and she wouldn't
Yes.
hardly talk to him at all. We got that recording.
We do.
Okay. All right. Next question.
3
Beverly?
RAV4. Does Earl and Fabian Rock past about this time, saying the garage door is open? Does Earl
Yes.
see the RAV outside?
Well,
No.
this is controversial. No, they don't see the RAV4. Stephen in a phone call says, "Hey, my brother and Robert were there talking about the guns, and they then went to the pit to sight in the weapons." Right?
Rabbit hunting.
Yeah, correct. They didn't see the RAV4. I can't remember.
Garage door was open.
Okay, and they were talking about hooking up the skidoo because
Yeah.
Robert Fabian was stirring up Stephen to buy his snowmobile and to get rid of that junk. So
Yeah.
but what's controversial is that according to Robert Fabian's wife, said, "Oh no, you got the day wrong. It was Wednesday."
Yep.
But then again, if that's the case, you can't have a smoking burn barrel, can you? On Wednesday.
Nope.
Right.
So the whole thing is all fucked up no matter how you look at it.
That's right.
Yep.
Correct. So
Okay.
no one saw a RAV. No one saw a RAV in the afternoon.
Okay. Next question from Mr. President.
Okay. Did they just reference a search warrant written before they were even done interrogating Brendan?
Sounds like it.
Well,
Sounds like it.
they were. We don't. Well, I can't remember.
He
But
wanted
it
to
does
add
sound-
to it.
Well, it sounded like there was something else going on in the background that we're really not privy to.
Well,
Once they
Chris-
started down that path. right?
Well, remember, guys, this is the first time that Brendan puts himself in the trailer.
That's right.
Before, he mentioned body parts in the fire.
That's right.
Now he mentions raping Teresa Horbach, him and Stephen, and in the trailer. So now they need a search warrant to go back in the trailer and the garage.
Which is
Correct.
what they
Take the
wanted.
walls.
Which is what they wanted.
Yeah, correct.
So, Mr. President, we don't really know. We can only glean and speculate for sure. But it does sound like something was definitely going on in the
Yes.
background.
Yes.
For
Yes.
sure.
So because of Brendan's changing narrative, they're going, shit, don't sign it, don't serve it. We got more to add.
Yeah.
We got more.
Yeah, hold up.
Hold up. Correct.
Yep. All right. Last question from Tony.
Did they ever try to confirm Colburn's location to where he was when he called the plates into the RAV4? Was it around the time the witness says he saw him at the gas station?
No, when that November the 3rd call, he was near the church, near where the zipper.
Zipperers.
Across the
Zippers.
road in the church
Yeah.
parking lot. It's on the radio
Correct.
transmission.
Correct.
At 9:22.
Yeah,
What time
yeah.
is it?
I forgot the exact time, but yeah, it's
Well,
all time.
I think the radio call was at 9:21. It's pretty short, but we can't prove, with beyond a shadow of a doubt that he was there. But
No.
it appears that he was.
Correct. And that gas station is the Senex station. It was either Colburn or another officer. Kratz actually named the other officer and he actually does look a bit like Colburn. But the point is this: there's no report. There's no report written by anyone to say a concerned citizen gave me a tip that the RAV4 was down at the turnaround. There is no.
That was on the 4th, right? Yeah,
Correct.
that was on the 4th.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I recall, I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was that asked. They wanted a rundown on where the case is right now, what's going on, and then someone asked, can they ask for SCOTUS to look at the Supreme Court of the United States to look at Brendan's case, which they already tried, and they did not take the case, so they refused. So that is at a stopping point, Brendan's case right now.
But what is interesting? Yeah, correct. But what I was
They
going to say,
can file 97406s. They've never done that in Brendan's case. They have to have new evidence. It's the only way that they can file a 97406.
Correct. And that's why Kathleen Zona, with looking at the RAV4, the plates and the blinker, will get potentially new forensic evidence that excludes Brendan and Stephen. So it's new evidence. And the state doesn't want it to do that. The state doesn't want it to do that. But
so Stephen's case right now is at the Court of Appeals.
Correct.
Because Judge Angela Sakevich denied his petition, his third 97406, I think it was. And it has the what?
Last fall. That's correct. That's correct. You're right.
Last fall. And
Yeah.
it's all about Sawinski and the Sawinski, his affidavit and the information. What else is in there?
Baresh.
Yeah.
And
so
potentially the VLCD.
Potentially the VLCD. So that is at the appeals court right now, and we're waiting on them to rule on that, on her third 97406. So then once they rule on that, if they deny it, then Kathleen has to come up with some new evidence to file another 97406.
Or go to the 7th Circuit, one of the two. Or federal. Well, that is
federal habeas petition.
Yeah.
Like they did for Brendan, which won't happen, I don't think.
Well, she don't want to do that yet.
So we're waiting on the Court of Appeals right now to rule.
Send
And
up,
if they send it back, they could also send it back to the Manitowoc Court and order an evidentiary hearing. And at that time, if that were to happen, I think Kathleen will once again file for scientific testing because they left that door open. So ask again for the RAV and whatever.
Correct.
So keep your fingers crossed with the Court of Appeals.
Yeah. So that's
And
why
all-
we haven't been talking about the Stevens case, because it's at a standstill. Literally is at a standstill.
And there was also a question in the beginning of our chat, so 3 hours or so ago, about hearing that we have a new judge, which is correct. Angela Sukiewicz
Yes.
has recused herself, and I don't know the name
Recused.
of the new
Lambrecht, Anthony Lambrecht.
Lambert. There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
And he hasn't had a chance really to rule on anything yet, except for when she filed for scientific testing, and it was still in the Court of Appeals. So that was out of order. And so that's all she's agreed to
Drop it.
Just
drop
it.
that for now. Yeah. So Lambrecht hasn't really gotten to
No.
do anything yet. Nothing until the Court of Appeals is finished.
Yep.
And Nan
Right.
Live 7 has a relevant question. She said, based upon the agreement of the parties, the defendant's second amended motion for scientific testing is hereby dismissed without prejudice. Is the initial testing motion still open?
No, this is it. It was dismissed.
Mhm.
She just amended it.
Okay. And there was another
Second.
question from
Hmm.
James Crane. Remind me again, why didn't the defense call Brendan to the stand?
They're
In-
They
constitutional.
couldn't.
They couldn't.
You mean in Brendan's trial?
Brendan's or Stevens, James, if you could add
Brendan
that.
actually got on the stand and testified
In his,
Yeah.
Yes.
in
So-
his trial.
His trial.
He's
They
probably-
couldn't call him. They couldn't call him in Stephen's trial.
No, because
That was
they
against
didn't use
his-
any of his. Yeah. Plus, they didn't use any of his statements. Nothing.
But it was against Brendan's
Self-interest. Yep.
self-interest,
he was
and
the
he had
co-
the right not to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and Beauty and String would have
That
destroyed.
would have ripped them apart. That
It
would have ripped them
destroyed-
apart.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
And,
easily, very easy to do.
Yeah. Kelly McCallion says, does the appeal court have to reply by a certain time?
No.
No. There's sweet time.
Take all the time they
There's
want.
sweet time.
So I heard somewhere that it could be like 18 months. There's like but even then they could say, oh, I've been just busy. I need an extension. So it could go
Yeah.
on forever.
Yeah, yes.
Oh, Hugh is in the chat. Hi, Hugh.
Oh, welcome.
He says,
Hi,
hi, all.
Hugh.
I've been trying to catch up to real time, but doubt it. I will. I'll put up a question for Mr. President, but maybe the panel will also have a comment. Okay, ask a question while we're still here.
Yeah, because my supper's ready.
Yeah,
Yeah. We're
Mine
going to go
too.
in a second.
yeah,
gonna
I'm
go in a
doing
second.
Nancy myself.
Yep. Well, look, guys, again, thank you so much for sticking by us. And no matter what platform you're listening on, thank you so much. I know it's very, very tough going. It's not easy to go through this, to do the podcast, but I believe that we're doing it right. We're going on about it in a lot of detail, leaving no stone unturned. And if you've got any suggestions or further stuff that you want mentioned, let us know and we'll incorporate it. Well, look, guys, I'm going to quickly go down the panel just to see how everyone's coming along, and then we'll close the podcast. Jack61, how are you coming along, good sir?
Pretty good. Planning on we'll be diving back into the case of dispatch calls tomorrow. Probably finish channel 6 and then move into channel 7. We'll see where we get. I don't know how long it'll take, but actually, it was really kind of a disaster for the 11th on channel 6 because they had a lot of 911 problems and problems
Yeah.
with the Altel. And
Yeah.
it really went pretty quickly. So finish that up, get started on the next channel. I'm still trying to get open records, and I'm hitting dead end brick walls. I did send one in 1st of June. Doc knows about it, with a number of items, and I got the standard 10-day reply,
Yeah.
and then 3 weeks passed. I hadn't heard anything, so I sent a status update, or maybe it was a month. Actually, it was about a month, asking for a status update. I didn't get a reply. I sent another one today that they'll get Monday. It's just like, it's just crazy, man. Anyway,
Yeah.
so hopefully anyway, hopefully everybody can join us tomorrow for more fun with the dispatch calls. Hope to see you there.
Awesome.
And thanks for everybody. A lot of great questions and conversation.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jack61. Susan, what about yourself? But you're looking forward to dinner.
I am. So I'm just going to say good night, John Boy. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you so much, Susan. I don't recall. Are you there?
Yes, I am. I learned a lot once again, and thank you. It's really helpful to go through it like this instead of, I've never really read it, I've just listened to it. So
It's quite shocking, isn't it? It's shocking.
It sure is. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't recall. And finally, Neverly. Neverly, what about yourself?
Hi, Dr. Silkman. Doing great. Frustrated as everybody else is in this myriad of bullshit that was going on today's podcast regarding in regards to Uyghur, Fassbender, and Brendan. But I wanted to thank you personally for doing all the hard work, doing all the cross-referencing, putting it all in black and white. And thank God we have you over here, because, man, I don't think I could put 10% by myself together.
But also we're very lucky throughout the hard work of Jack61 and everybody else getting all those
absolutely.
And getting all the, and plus you're helping as well. But it's fantastic that we can put it all together, right, guys?
Yes, I think that's the key.
To share our wisdom, our knowledge.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Because what Kratz did, and I said this day one, and I'm still sticking by it, is he put a good enough story for the jurors. But what we found, like in the beginning, between point A, point B, was a Grand Canyon of distance of these puzzle pieces.
Yep.
And I don't believe that we will ever find out what exactly happened, especially with all the players that are involved. Probably and we have expanded all of that. But gosh, wouldn't it be great to find the truth?
Yes.
Just how did this poor woman lose her life? And who did it? That's it. We don't need to know the ins and outs and but this, but then, and who's related to who anymore, unless it's relevant, of course. Oh man, maybe one day.
Correct. Well, that's exactly what Kathleen Zona's trying to do. Don't want to let her. All right. Okay,
how
guys.
How are you doing?
I'm doing much better. Feeling better. Yeah. I mean, this is a real tough case. There's nothing alluring or real. I hate to use the word sexy or anything like that. This is tough going. Brendan's case is a pure tragedy because it's like seeing two trains come together and you know they're going to crash and you can't do a damn thing. That's the horrible thing, because hindsight is 20/20. You know what's going to happen to him, and it's just a tragedy. And that's why this is only just the start. The interrogation is just the start. We're going to go through what Michael O'Kelly said to Brendan. We're also going to look at the court trial testimony of Brendan Dassey's questioning. We're going to look at all of that as well. So to bring everybody up to date, people have got to know what happened to this poor kid. It's just huge. Yeah. So in that regard, sorry, Jack61.
No. Continue, Doc. Sorry.
Yeah. So I think this narrative is very, very important. It's painful. I know a lot of people don't like listening to it. It's too hard for them. It's heartbreaking, but Brendan is not unique. It's happened to many people before, and it will continue. If America doesn't change their read technique, you're going to have more innocent kids. confessing to crimes they never committed or even were there, right? It's as simple as that. Well, look, guys, if you've enjoyed the podcast, please consider subscribing. If you enjoyed what we've done so far, put your DNA in the thumbs up button and share our podcast, right? Both Jack61 and myself, we hang out on X. I can't be there all the time because I'm working on the podcast and other bits and pieces. But yeah, leave your questions and thank you so much for your feedback. And we'll all catch you tomorrow. Take care, guys.
Hey, thanks everyone. And with that, I'll say this has been a Foul Play production.